What to do? Hi. Here's a new thing that I'm learning.
What?
I think I always need to click it because it's not going live on Instagram.
Click it.
No, it's like I need to click it on my StreamYard next week. I don't know.
Is it not going to
not going.
just Instagram, or is it not going to Twitch?
Just Instagram.
Well, guess the world's going to end.
Da da da.
Like,
I was just kidding. I know the world's not going to end.
can you do me a favor, not shake the table?
I can.
I should have mentioned it before when there was time for you to avoid it. Bye, Kelly.
We'll start with the land acknowledgement. The Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. We acknowledge that the land we gather on Mokinstis is the ancestral territory of the Siksika Sitapi, the Siksika, the Gaina, the Piikani, and the Amska Piikani. We acknowledge all First Nations and Métis of Treaty 7 lands, the Sutena, the Ithkabi, which includes Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstony. We commit to advancing reconciliation guided by truths, respecting treaty laws, and humbly walking alongside First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. We recognize all who live, work, play, and make art on these lands, and who now call this place home. We're very grateful to have the space to be able to make art and to be able to come together and chit-chat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was just looking at a movie called Space Crash.
Star Crash?
Star Crash. I think I want to watch that this weekend.
That sounds very fun. I hope I can keep my tooth.
Every time you say that, I hear it so differently. Like, maybe if you brush a little bit, you'll be able to keep your tooth. But that's not what they mean.
I was thinking of making it would be so cool to have a necklace.
Mm.
With my rotten old tooth.
It's not a rotten tooth.
It's kind of empty. It would be maybe hard for them to keep. It's like hollow. Hello. Hello. We are tired. June Wednesdays. I think we're doing pretty good.
Want to watch a movie?
How's your spirit?
Let's watch a movie. What was the last thing that happened?
6,
we were in the car. Were we in the car and you got mad and
Yeah,
left?
I was like, I'm going to leave before I get upset. And then the Wolfman came.
Wolfman. Are you talking? I'm trying to find the thing.
I will bring Kelly into the thing. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Hi, Kelly. We're going to start a movie and then we can chat about how you're doing.
No more chit chat.
I just sent to Theo and Zach.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of people are watching the hockey game. Did I say that funny?
No, it was funny because you were trying to make sure you said hockey.
Hockey? No, yeah, you're right.
Also, broadcast has been shared.
Thank you. Oh, I can do that too. I can do that too.
Is this the Wolfman? This might be last week's Wolfman. You guys ready for the Wolfman?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I have to upload them. I mean, damn it.
Struggle.
Yeah, it's pretty lucky that the car started.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you know, when the Wolfman came.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I can't believe this is happening again.
Hey, Dad, the car's not running.
I know.
Last time this happened, it was the Wolfman.
I told you I don't want to talk about it. You cannot go in the...
I need to go to the bathroom.
There's a Wolfman. I'm trying to tell them that there's a Wolfman.
And I'm not listening just because I'm a kid.
Can you see where he's gone?
I can't see anything.
Can you just go check on him?
I'm not gonna go check on him. What if he is peeing?
Felix, it's time to get back here.
Felix! Felix, this isn't funny.
That's good editing. Yeah, remind me. I gotta get those.
Here's
up.
Dax.
Is this? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, because I remember the last time I tried to do this, I couldn't hear you guys or whatever, so I got frustrated and left. So,
Dax, can you turn your screen sideways?
like this ways?
Yeah. And then just leave it for a
It'll-
second.
It'll go.
How do I make it like bigger or whatever?
Sideways. Hold on just a second.
It should switch. Oh,
I'm
that's okay.
so bad at this stuff.
You have to do auto
I don't see like a thing. Normally it has like a thing that that goes.
Yeah. Do you have the auto rotate on your phone?
Yeah, it should be on.
No. Then I'm not
There.
sure.
Does that work now?
Just
I
be
got
back.
Buddy with me.
It'll be okay.
Buddy,
Hey, buddy.
I just take him for a walk.
it's so nice outside. That's awesome.
I know. I started going to the gym again too, so I feel better. I can't believe how lazy I've been the last I don't know what the frick was wrong with me. I couldn't like snap out of it. Like I was just like I don't know, just laying around and depressed and just like I don't know. It's weird. I've never been like that before. Maybe that's like an old age crisis thing.
Oh,
Isn't that what happens when you turn like 50?
Did you turn 50, Dax?
Yeah, I think I got like old man menopause or something. Seriously.
Do you feel
'Cause
better? Does the sun make you feel better?
I seen it on I never thought it's true that guys can get it too.
Totally. Yeah.
I get like these like hot flashes and crap for no reason. I'm just like sweating and then I'm freezing and it's like I probably gained like 50 pounds too. I'm just but anyway, I signed up. They just opened a gym across the street, so it just opened up
That's
on
awesome.
Saturday. And I gone like 3 days in a row.
That's
So
amazing.
at least that's a start, right?
That's huge. That's
That sounds
awesome.
great.
It'll take me a second I can't believe how weak I am though in there. I'm just like I could barely do 10 burpees. When I used to be able to do like 1,000.
Yeah.
Like it used to take me like an hour, but I could do 1,000 of them. I got to the point where I could do sets of 50. Now I can barely do 10. That's crazy.
I definitely had that experience.
Plus I don't have my bikes anymore too, so that didn't help matters. Like normally I ride my bike everywhere and haven't been doing that either.
Where's your bike?
They got stolen
Uh-oh.
Aw.
back at Zach. Zach stole them from me.
Which Zach?
I let him stay in my apartment for free, and just because I wanted someone to watch Buddy while I was at work.
Yeah.
And I mean, in hindsight, I was gonna just I had it set. I was gonna take him to this girl. Like I met online. She had like a dog daycare thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I had it set up. I was just gonna leave him with her every morning,
Yeah.
and then pick him up after work. I think it would have costed me like $10 or $12 a day. In the end, like something like that, like $200 a month or something. I think it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I was just like, well, Zach needs somewhere to live. I was like, well, if you you stay for free, just take care of him while I'm at work. And yeah, everything was going fine until he gave me one of those COVID checks. Like I was cashing them for him for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then he gave me one that he had already cashed. Like he had already took a picture of it. And then I did it again. So, of course, my account was at the point where they trusted me. So the check cleared instantly. And then like 10 days later, they're like, oh, you owe us $2,600. I was like, oh, man. And he tried to tell me it was Steph, his girlfriend. I'm like, whatever. And then he actually bought the bikes off me and he used that money to pay me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm taking my bikes back because you know. And he's like, no, I paid for them. I gave you the money. He's like, yeah, but you can't give me,
My own money.
you can't pay your bill with stolen money.
Yeah.
That the check bounced.
Yeah.
I have to pay that money back now. So, but he was all convinced in his head that I was trying to fucking scam him. Sorry, shouldn't swear online. Well, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. That's not.
he turned around and stole my bikes. Because in his mind, he figured they were his anyway.
Yeah.
I was like, I was so mad. I was just like, I can't believe you think, okay, I cashed that check. Yes, you gave me $1,000, and then you spent the rest, but now the bank is coming after me for $2,600. So,
How long since you've had a bike?
since then,
Okay. I'm gonna try.
gonna,
I'm gonna try and find you a bike. Okay.
that'd be cool. I was gonna like just go, maybe try and get one like on a payment plan or something, but I don't know if they do that.
We'll just go find you one. There's probably
That'd
somebody
be awesome.
that can.
I think I need like a bigger one, like an adult size one though.
I remember that the cops asked you, "Why don't you ride a big boy bike?"
My knees can't take the BMX anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting old sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
You know what sucks more than getting old?
Huh?
You know what sucks more than getting old?
Getting old, yeah, it sucks.
Not getting old.
I hate it. I was never supposed to be 50. I'm 53. Gross.
We like that you're still here, Dad.
What's that?
We like that you're still here.
I can't believe I fucking made it this long.
You're doing good.
It wasn't for lack of trying, that's for sure. But I'm just like too hard to kill.
Where are you walking to right now?
I'm just going to it's just before Fish Creek Park.
Oh, nice.
That's one cool thing about up here. It's like walking distance. I walk through there all the time. Fish Creek.
Where do you live these days?
Deer Run.
Oh, and that's still
Freaking boonies. I've never lived out this far.
I grew up in Canyon Meadows, which was right where that
like up by like past South Center, way past like Bull Bottom Trail and like Douglasdale.
How do you move around? Do you take the bus?
Yeah. Or walk.
Does the bus get stuck in traffic like the cars, or is there a special bus lane?
Not out here. Well, they mean they have those whatever lanes, like during rush hour, whatever, the triangle lanes or whatever, like on the right. But they don't have. It's not like how it's in like in Forest Lawn where they have the whole center of the street.
Right.
Yeah,
Does the bus get stuck in traffic? Because that's one thing about that area is the traffic there is like, I think.
Yeah, you need a car. Pretty much like everything is like I walk to the superstore Walmart. It takes me like an hour to Fish Creek Park, and then I take the bus back to the groceries. Because there was a no frills and a co-op out here, but I got kicked out of both of them. Me and my big mouth.
What did you say?
Well, they started making an issue about Buddy.
Oh,
because his ID card wasn't whatever. It just, I don't know. Like, I think they just, I don't know. It's like they're making excuses. And then of course, me, my big mouth, I started freaking out.
Oh.
So now when I probably would have just been kicked out for the day, now I'm banned for forever. Because,
from all the
I
no
can't
frills,
keep my mouth shut.
all the no frills, or just the one nearby?
Just the one here and the co-op. I don't do good in those situations where the guy is like kind of calling me out and now there's a crowd for me and people are staring at me. I get really, I'm trying to explain to the guy that's what he's for. He's, because he's whining, he's like crying. And I'm like, see, you're stressing my dog out, you're stressing me out. What's your problem?
Yeah.
And he's like, so, and then all of a sudden, same thing at the co-op. Like 3-4 months later, they're like, "Oh, he's only for emotional support." I'm like, "Yeah, that's a that's a legitimate mental health issue, buddy. Like, he's a service animal and like, yeah." Well, I said you can't just pick and choose which service animal.
Yeah.
Like. Your door sign, it's, service animal. It says right on the card, service animal. He's like, yeah, but he's an emotional support. I'm like, yeah, and what's your point? And he's like, I'll get my manager on the phone right now. I'm like, holy fuck! Like, you're making a big deal out of nothing. Like, why are you doing this to me? Like, why? Look, you got a big, huge crowd for him. Are you happy now? And then he's like, I don't appreciate this language. Like, fuck, whatever, man. I'm out of here. Like, you guys are too expensive anyway. You can rip off co-op. I'll take my business elsewhere. We're obviously not welcome here.
I'm sorry that happened.
So, I don't know what the issue was. It just seems to me, it seemed kind of convenient. They're just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what I did. I must have pissed somebody off or something at both places because they like right before they confronted me about it, they were like following me around the store and stuff, like I was gonna steal stuff, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what are you guys following me around for? Like, like, are you lost? You think I need some attention? Like, I'm like, it's freaking me out, man. Why are you following me? And then the manager or the assistant manager, or whatever he was, come up and, oh, do you have ID for your? I said, yeah, you saw it the other week. He's like, I'm like, you guys have it on file. The owner took a photocopy of it and said, I have no issue here. And
do you know what I think happened, Dax?
I don't know.
They probably profiled you and decided that maybe they had to watch.
Maybe they Googled my name or something. That happened.
But I think probably what happened is they might have profiled you a bit, right? They're following you
Probably.
around. They just made a judgment about you. And then
Probably.
when you presented it as kind of reasonable at first before you got angry, they probably
Yeah.
felt embarrassed that they profiled you. So then they're just looking for another excuse to
Yeah.
right? Like
That's what I figured too.
they're trying to
That's
save
what I think.
face.
I
And
think you're right, because that
then
was
they
my
end up-
idea too.
then they end
Because
up provoking you until you have an outburst.
yeah, that's what it seemed like. Same with the no frills, like, because when he asked me, because I didn't have the ID card, I didn't have it yet. It was in the mail. So when he asked me, I was like, no, it's in the mail. I'll leave. I'll come back when I get it. And I went to leave, and he's like, you see, this isn't a real service animal. He started like making a big scene. I was like, what are you doing, man? I'm leaving. Like, why are you making a big scene? And he got the whole fucking store staring at me. Like, what's your problem, man? I'm leaving. You know, I said, I don't have it yet. It's in the mail. He's like, they don't come in the mail. I'm like, oh, what are you, the service animal police now? Like, of course they come in the mail. How the hell they don't come with the dog? You have to register the dog later. Like, I was just like, oh, you people, man. I'm like, I don't have an issue with him anywhere else in Calgary. I walk in and everybody like loves him. He's,
Loves
you know, like,
Yeah, but he's so sweet.
it's not like he's a freaking bull mastiff or something. Like,
He's just
and
like,
even then, a service animal is a service animal.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if I wanted to, like if I could afford a lawyer, I could probably sue him or something, but I'm not going to do that. Like, that's not me. I just won't ever shop there again, I guess. Like, the Shoppers Drug Mart has never had an issue with him ever. They all love him over there. And so did most of the staff at Co-op and at No Frills. So I don't know, like, yeah, I think it was like some profiling, and maybe they were having a bad day and they felt like taking it out on somebody that's, you know, vulnerable or whatever. You know, even in this day and age, you know, it's 2025, but you still, as soon as anyone with mental health issues, they're like, all of a sudden everybody's scared of you or something.
Yes, there's still the stereotypes for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like, man, you guys are profiling, stereotyping, kicking me out of here for no reason.
I used to be super violent. Don't provoke me.
Yeah. It's like those people at that apartment. I never got what their deal was. I was just like, what is your freaking malfunction? Like,
I think some people just live more sheltered lives, and they don't know.
well, it's like they get off on it. They
In fairness,
have this little,
you're a pretty big guy, and
little bit of power.
if they're
I
feeling
know, but
they might just be like scared and not really knowing
yeah,
much of the world. Scared and maybe a little bit
intimidated.
insulated.
Yeah, that's what it was. They were like, in the end, they were freaked out of me. I could tell. Like, they wanted me out of there so badly. Like, it was like they had like this meeting. There's like 10 of them in the apartment one day. I was just like, holy crap. They had like this meeting, like that was like their mission. They had like, they were coming up with like points and like things they could do to like provoke me without getting in trouble. I was like, holy crap, you guys are crazy, man.
They had a PowerPoint.
PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, they did, because it started with the first people there, those wherever they were, East Indian or whatever wherever they're from, Canada, but
They're I don't think that's indicative of where they're from.
no, it had nothing. Well, I don't know.
No,
In I grew up with a lot, like in the north. I had a lot of friends who lived in the north, and I knew a lot of like Lebanese. They're more racist than we are, in my opinion.
Dax, we try really hard not to make
yeah.
assumptions about anybody. We love you.
I'm not.
I know.
I know. I
I'm worried
don't
about.
say
I'm
stuff
worried
like
about
that.
how somebody that doesn't know how gentle you are will take what you're saying. So
I shouldn't say that.
let's talk
No, I
about
just
Buddy for a bit.
How's
Just-
Buddy?
he's good.
That's good.
Just I don't know. I used to just get like a lot of that white boy stuff out there, and you know, it's like
You
it's like a whole different planet out there.
I
The
think
Northeast.
the world, we all have our sort of intersectionality challenges.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. And I'm not saying I'm
let's
in no way perfect. You know, I have my, and to be honest, I understand a little bit. I can sympathize with those people about the reason why I never really gave them a reason to be freaked out of me, but all it took was for them is to look me up. And when they found out I was on, like I had to report once a week and all that, it freaked them out.
Yeah.
And it didn't help that those walls are paper thin and you got, you know, people coming over and talking stupid stuff. I'm like telling people like,
it's
keep your voices down, man. They can hear you. Everyone's like, you're crazy, Dax. They can't hear you.
Are you in a better place now?
Well, I started to dig myself out of it.
That's
like,
good. That's all that
like,
matters.
When I joined the gym, but no, for the last like couple of years, no, I was in a horrible place. I just like, I don't know what was wrong with me. I didn't want to do nothing. Like there's days I would go like a week or two. I wouldn't even leave my room. And that's not like me. I'm not like that. Like that was weird.
I would
kind of
love
freaking
to
me
do
out.
that.
It was freaking me out. I was just like, what's wrong with me?
I have this fantasy
I'm not like this.
somewhere where I can walk around in a bathrobe and paint all day.
Yeah, I was eating like lots of junk food. There's a dollar store right there. So, man, that place is evil. Processed sugar.
I was telling the story to my class the other day. I didn't use your name, but I told a story about you. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, that's fine.
I was telling them about how, because I teach this class about how to like learn and how to memorize things. And the story I told them is I have this friend. He didn't know anybody's phone numbers, but he knew mine because it's alphanumeric, Max Rich. And then this goes that you need. Now I didn't tell them who you were, but I told them that you had run into some trouble in the past and that you probably should have got some support, but instead of getting support, they just threw you back in jail. And then you called me up and told me that you wanted me to come visit you, but it was really important that my address matched my
your ID card and stuff.
We actually moved down the hallway, so
I know because I sent my stuff to your neighbor.
Yeah,
thank God.
And so this guy comes to my door and he's like sweating, like he's literally looks like he got out of the shower, and he's kind of weeping a little bit, and he's apologizing. I can't tell what he says, but he hands me this envelope. It was your wallet, your keys, and your teeth,
and my phone.
Yeah.
I don't remember phone. Maybe.
Yeah, it was my cell phone. I had to send my cell phone out because you can't keep them there anymore.
But the teeth really freaked him out. And you and I talked about that. It was hard for you to get them, and then we didn't want you while you're in prison. And it doesn't really matter if you're good looking in prison, I hope. So,
no. Yeah, I can't remember how my
that I had your teeth come in the mail.
I don't know. I can't remember why they were in there though. Like I can't remember
which part.
My teeth. I can't remember why they ended up.
You were nervous about losing them.
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because I figured I might get into like a fight or something. I didn't want to get them broken or whatever. If I had to like something like that, I'm just like Mr. Super Paranoid because I know like.
I think one of the things that happens when you're in there is that you go in and you've kind of managed a lot of stuff and done really well, and then there's nothing to do in there. and then you end up
Yeah.
getting like sucked into the bad habits.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because well, that's what I tried to do this time. I tried to stay away from all that stuff in there because I figured, because it's really hard to kind of keep your nose clean in there. So I figured if I could do it in there, I could do it anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was my theory anyway. And so far, so good.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with that plastic cutlery that I kept. Because
I don't know plastic cutlery.
well, because they used to give you metal forks and stuff. Like they give you a set to
Oh,
keep,
yeah.
like, and you just wash them yourself.
Yeah.
But now they're all plastic. So for so long, for like 4.5, 5 years, I used plastic. And then when I got to where you could actually use a metal fork, it just felt weird. Like it reminded me of that. You ever see that movie with Nicolas Cage and that guy from CSI Miami? He's like a car thief. I can't remember the movie was called.
Gone in 60
But
seconds.
no, not that one. It was before that. He was partners with Nicolas Cage, and then while he's in jail, he goes to his wife's house and gets her drunk, and they get into this car crash, and she dies. So he turns into like a witness or whatever. David Crusoe does, and that guy. He could only use plastic because the metal felt funny in his mouth, and that's how he knew. When they gave him his meal in jail, they gave him plastic fork, and that's how he knew it was him. It was the rat, because he's like one of the only people that knew that, right, about him. So I don't know. I don't know if that influenced my. It was weird. It just felt weird in my mouth, like plastic spoon and fork. So I kept those, and they're like a bright orange.
Yeah.
And I figured that would be another thing that every time I see them in my cutlery drawer, that would remind me, because what happens is every time you get out, and then within like a day or two or a week, it's like you forget all about it. You were never there, and you forget about all the bad,
Yeah.
about all the crappy crap you went through. Like literally, it's weird. Like
Yeah.
Your
like
brain
literally, like
is it.
within like hours, sometimes it's just like, bah, and you're back to doing whatever you're doing. And then, that only lasts so long. It's inevitable. You either end up dead or back in there. So, and I figured, if I go back now, I get out when I'm like 65 or 70, what am I going to do then? Like, at least this time I got out when I was like 40 something. I have a chance. I figure,
You're doing good.
very
There.
slim. I'm never going to own a house or anything like that, but
We're not
hey,
either, Dax.
no, but you know what I mean, right? That's
Yeah.
that's
I'm
like
not
what you're supposed to do, right? Like
You know what I know
when you're
about
like
is like you're a
when
bit,
you're like in civilized, supposed to find a wife and have a kid and get a house, a picket fence. I got the dog.
you're a bit gruff on the outside, but we know that you're a beautiful person on the inside, and you're deserving of love.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's about buying a house, but it'd be nice if you found somebody and fell in love, and
That'd be all right.
eat your eggs with somebody in the morning.
I think I've
Start moving your
matured
stuff
to the
down.
point.
When you're not looking, you'll go to get your
I
keys.
think
They won't be where you need them, and then you'll be at work with no keys. And you're like, man, I kind of miss being single sometimes when get to work with no keys.
Well, I mean, I had girlfriends in the past, but nothing like. I would always break up with them because I'm not gonna drag someone else into my my
What do you think of my
my
painting?
BS. And then also I always thought of that, like, especially if you have someone you care about and a kid, especially that in that kind of life, I always looked at that as kind of a liability, right? Like something someone could use against me, and I didn't want to do that to anybody. So I never really got really super serious. Like I had one girl when I was like 18, 19, we almost had a kid with her and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I was better off not. Sometimes I think maybe it would have been a good thing though. I might have changed my whole, but
It
her friends convinced her
can be very
because
silly. Oops.
she was gonna have it, and then, but for the wrong reason. She thought that would bring me back, which it probably would have, but who knows though. But yeah, so that happened, and then when I got back, I was like, because I was only gone for a couple of weeks that time, and I got back to Calgary, and I was thinking I was gonna show up there. She's gonna have this big belly. I was like, what? Where'd the kid go? And she's like, oh, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh man. All right, well, I guess that's that. I'll see you later. And of course, she chased me around for a little bit. I was like, nah, if you're going to give up on it that easy, what's the point? Like, and then,
Hey, Dax, tell me something I can do to brighten your day.
Brighten my day. I don't.
Paint anything.
I get so
Can you
depressing.
take a picture of Buddy and send me a picture of Buddy? I'm going to paint it right now.
Right.
Take like 5 pictures of Buddy and send me the best one.
Okay, hold on. Oh, Edmonton School.
You say Edmonton's calling?
He's going to send me some pictures of Buddy.
Oh, nice. Guess what? Next Wednesday is the Strawberry Moon.
Strawberry moon, you saw me standing alone without a love of my own, without a dream in my heart. Here's Zach doing some kind of female
Lotus
representation of a body part.
Who's the other person that was on his name's Zach as well?
Dax.
Oh, Dax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he lives close in the area where I am.
Have you seen him at Co-op?
No, no, I don't go there. I go to Sobeys, which is in Millrise.
Oh, nice.
But I was just listening to his whole thing, and it's interesting, actually.
He's had quite a life, eh?
Well, yeah, he's had quite a life, but he's actually picked himself up and gotten back on the horse and, you know, doing better.
Yeah.
I take full responsibility.
Yeah.
He's going to send me a picture of his dog any second.
Cool.
I think.
And I like the flowers, Zach.
Thanks. My kitty cat's name's Lotus,
Aww.
and I've been missing her, so I got a Lotus tattoo, and then I can't stop. I'm just hooked on this.
Paint flowers now, Zach?
Hey!
Flowers are nice.
It's not like a 3-letter tag or something like.
Oh no! I just had to keep it soft.
Yeah.
No, it's
It's nice.
Complimentary to the Dax rant. I think I gotta just soften it up.
Yeah, that's nice. That's good balance.
Yeah, not that I can't hang.
No, but everyone's has
their
own imagery
Zach,
in their head too.
Cam just called me and asked if I wanted to hang a show in the space. I think he's just experimenting with the space. And I might connect him with you. If you can mail us some stuff, we'll hang it for you, okay?
That'd be great. I got
let me look into the details first, okay? But
Yeah.
Cam has a space. I think he wants to exhibit art in it, and he asked me if I wanted to have a show. I kind of have a different plan for my shows. Our apartment's pretty swank, pretty small and kind of shabby, but pretty swank, and it's just stuffed with stuff. But we're still removing things. I'm going to build myself or buy a couple movable walls that I put in the center of my apartment.
Cool.
Instead of art shows, I'm just going to invite art buyers to come by and look at my work. My friends can come look at it too, but they'll just be like weekend things where you just drop in, take a look at the work, and
salon style.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to wrap my head around. Actually, at one point, I thought I might approach the guys that took over the Rumble House. The barbershop were really nice, and I know they could move more bodies through there. So I was thinking I might offer to hang some shows on their walls on a Friday night and have an opening. I just didn't want to impose on them, but I think it would be a win-win. But then I was thinking about art galleries and stuff, and I've kind of been lipping off to the art galleries for quite some time, and I'm a little bit judgmental of what they do. So I knew I could eat some humble pie and go back and apply. I know some would enjoy telling me to screw off, but I know there's enough out there that probably figure they can make money off me. So I kind of, as much as I kind of disdain that world, and I probably shouldn't keep saying that out loud, but I've decided I can't.
If you fundamentally disagree with something, it's hard to.
I can't bend to go and ask for permission. Yeah. And I even went into this one space kind of near where I work, and they're pretty new and really looking for artists last year, and it wasn't really my thing. And then I went in to ask them how it was going, and they have a waiting list. I'm like, I'm not playing that game. Like, thank you very much. I wasn't rude to them, and I was just like, I think I'm a little bit past making sure my slides are in the right order with the red dot in the top right corner. I'm not going to play those games. That's actually where I got really turned off. When Robin was born, I was just starting my practice, and I got a studio, and I started painting. And I just started walking around and asking people, what do I do if I want you to look at my work? And they're like, well, you come on a Tuesday under a blue moon with a dead gopher under your arm, and you have to have your slides in your left breast pocket, and there needs to be a right dot, a dot in the right-hand corner, or we won't look at them. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Like,
we're done here.
Yeah, we talk about this a little bit. Like, it's called a submission. No, not interested.
Yeah. Hey, and we're going to see that movie, right?
Yes. Yeah. I've got a friend with Claire Air, and I'm working on how to.
Well, you better buy a ticket to the show before you buy an airplane ticket, because if you get here and it's sold out, maybe buy them at the same time. Check.
Yeah, I've got faith in the energy of the universe. Look at this lotus. Infinity has got my back.
Scott, you can join. Oh, is Scott joining us? He says he's joining us. I sent him a link.
Hey, Jess.
Yeah.
Did you see those pictures I sent you today?
Oh, I didn't get a chance to look yet. Yeah.
So I went to I went to the Loose Moose, actually, and I just walked around the empty area.
Yeah.
But there's an art gallery there, and then there's art all over the walls.
Yeah.
In that building, and I just took pictures of the art that's on the wall. And it was kind of cool because they actually covered up the concrete. They covered it up with metal, but it looks like art in a way.
Nice.
So, and they had a door that was made out of metal, but it had art on it.
Very cool.
So that was another idea for to put, I don't know, a show down there maybe at the Loose Moose. I don't know. That's an idea.
We're always there at the shows in the evening, so I don't think I've never been to the art gallery in the what is it called? Not Blackfoot. Crossroads.
Crossroads. It's actually like the art gallery. They had it was a guy who took pictures of, believe it or not, pavement cracks.
Yeah.
Over a decade, I guess.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's all his stuff. And then there was another person that had Upcycle, and they have glass, and they took glass from like a salt and pepper shaker, and they made it into a flower, which is
Oh, that's
interesting. I didn't take any pictures. I didn't get a chance to, but
that's
it
okay.
was just interesting to see it. It was like blowing glass with salt and pepper shakers in it, and they were all flowers.
Oh, that's cool.
They were really cool. I had never seen anything like that.
Very.
Yeah. So, and then they also have art there for donation. So they had like artists that had art on like in a little gallery, and then you could actually donate what they think. I guess there's a nice painting of a carousel actually.
Oh, nice. That's a good connection to Scott. Scott always had the ticket. He had tickets to the carousel in Chinook.
That carousel in Chinook is no longer there.
I know,
Yeah.
but he always had the.
You can always go visit it at the movies.
Yeah.
They used it in Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Oh, okay.
I kind of think that carousel, and I'm not sure. Did it get moved to Heritage Park?
I haven't gone to Heritage Park in a while. Inside. I've only been to the parking lot. But
We could check that out.
I know there's a carousel actually at the zoo.
Yeah,
Maybe that's where it went.
maybe.
Do you go to the zoo very much?
No, not really. Maybe once a year, once every 2 years.
Dax is back.
Whoa, I like the colors.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Are you guys still doing like the auction?
Not really.
Oh.
Unless you want to buy something.
No, we're not.
We're more
No,
giving.
bro.
We're more giving stuff away. How do you like that?
Oh, so what? Did you just not want to do the whole Rumble House thing anymore? You just got
Do you want to hear the story?
do
How it
something
started?
different?
There was a couple things that happened.
Because I kind of like I disappeared. I don't know. I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, every time I'd be like, I should go down there, and then it'd be like 6 o'clock, and then I'd be staring at the clock, and then it's 7 o'clock, and I'd be like, okay, I'll go next week. And that's just how I've been for the last while. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
what happened? Sorry.
Well, there's a couple things. One of the things that happened was we had to ask one of our friends not to come in anymore because he got himself into an awkward situation, and that was really.
Okay.
I mean that happened often over the 12 years.
Yeah.
Like 20 times, but that one was kind of like that was a kind of a breaker near the end. At the same time, Kathleen Morris came in and gave us a bunch of artwork, which you would think is really a nice thing, and it was. But it was like I was realizing, here's this lady that just sold her house so she could move into a condo. She's giving me 10 paintings, and it happened a couple times that summer where people were coming in and donating a bunch of paintings to us because they shrunk their house.
Yeah.
And they wanted to help out, but I'm like, I can't keep taking paintings from people who
Uh-huh.
are moving out of their homes and into condominiums.
Yeah.
I got to the point where if I sold a painting for $300, I kind of felt like throwing up. Like I was starting to get sick from the idea of my
Of
friends.
making money.
Like I was
Like how it was happening.
Well,
yeah, or
that,
I
and
get
then
it.
I knew people were struggling, but
I
instead
get
of
it.
feeling amazing when my art sold, I felt nauseous. I felt like I was going to throw up.
Yeah, I get it.
We still have to make rent for another year, and then we have to decide if we're going to sign a 1 year, another 5-year lease. And I
Oh,
just
okay.
decided, you know what? The way I feel right now, I don't want to have to make money for another 5 years. So unfortunately, I did have to make money for a year after I decided to shut it down. There
Uh-huh.
was a whole year of me like, yay, $300. Oh, I think I'm gonna vomit. And
Yeah.
it's tough because you love these people and they're trying to support you, but I was also like, I was getting physically ill from selling my work.
like just feeling bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
But on top of that, here's another example. The city does things to downtown and to artists and to artist spaces, and it makes it really hard to stay positive sometimes. So the guy
Yeah.
next door to us bought the building, And then right away, I'm like, oh, is he going to buy my building and turn it into a parking lot? And then there was a span of time where he was renovating, and he would leave his worker's truck in our loading zone for weeks on end.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get in to drop stuff off because the guy next door is like, and he seemed like a nice guy. He'd come by, I'm like, hey, how's it going, guys? Like, you know, if we could use the loading zone every now and then, that'd be great. And he'd be like, oh, just give my guy a little space. He'll only be here for a couple more days. And then that guy that owns the building next door has had this freaking bucket truck parked in front of the barber shop for about 2.5 months now. He's just got a one of those genie lifts. It's the size of a tank, and it's sitting on the sidewalk, and it cuts out half the view. So, you know, it's expensive having downtown property. Yeah. And then when people are getting off the train, most of them never look sideways. But if they do look sideways, instead of seeing your space, they're looking at a bucket truck. And it's just that the neighbors were like, the businesses sometimes were so inconsiderate, and the city can be so inconsiderate. I just got fed up. And then, so there's all these little things where they paved the park next to us. They paved Millennium Park. And when I see this park, I kind of feel like going like full on terrorist, but I usually talk myself out of it. But I'm glad that I don't have to take care of.
Well, they paved the whole park?
They paved the grass part.
No way.
Yeah.
Why?
Skate park still there?
They took out all of the trees and paved the grass.
Why?
So they can have their beer parties over Stampede for 10 days.
Please, like, they don't have enough beer gardens for Stampede already. They need that one too.
I know.
It's kind of funny too, because like
they paved Paradise and they put up a parking lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also kind of funny when you think about it, because it's expensive to have a nightclub. Stampede week, everybody's so dying to get in a parking lot and get blistered by the asphalt. It's like there was so many people.
That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, there's so many people that approached us over the years that wanted to have art battles or art rumbles
in a
in a drunk parking lot with a bunch of Stampede people. Like, we could make $1 million, and I'm like, I can't think of anything more gross than selling art somewhere where people are checking their wedding rings in with their coats and hats. And I'm a little bit of a snob that way, I guess.
Well, you know what happened that Stampede parade? I was still working with David, and I was on my way to his place, and I seen something sparkling on the sidewalk where the parade was just recently, and I found a gold necklace with like 5 rings on it. And then I took to this place. I got like $900 for it all because there was like diamonds and everything in there. And I figured it looked like wedding stuff too. It was like somebody got mad and like because the chain was broken. It was probably some drunk girl was like, mad at her husband or boyfriend or something, and like threw it. I don't know. I was like, actually, I walked right past it at first. I was like, and then when I buzzed, he wasn't answering, so I went around. I was like, okay, let's go for a walk and come back. And I was like, what is that over there? And boom. Yeah, I can believe it. I was like, wow, lucky day. And then, but yeah, that was a while ago. Nothing. But yeah, I understand where you come from, like, about money, because like I used to get like the same kind of feeling when, you know, I'd be all like happy that I made whatever I did, but then, you know, it made me kind of sick to think about the way I went about it sometimes. Just like, I don't know. I know, like, I mean, I could, like, I don't know, I could turn those feelings off sometimes, but.
Dex, did you send me a picture of your dog?
Yeah, I sent a whole bunch. I don't know if I went a little too.
Felix, turn your phone sideways.
All right.
Check
Check
the
Dex,
hear me?
can you hold Buddy up for Felix to see?
Yeah, he's right there. Can you see him?
No. Oh, buddy.
He knows your voice. His ears perked up. And he's gonna attack my house coat. He likes to dig in the bed. Here, I'm gonna see if I can work my tablet, and maybe it'll be better. I finally got one. I'm surrounded by LCD screens now. I can feel the cancer brewing in my brainsicle. What?
I will be referring to myself as Brainsicle for the rest of my life now.
My brainsicle?
Yeah.
I think I popped the brainsicle.
Hey, and now that Felix is with us, is it okay if we watch that movie again? It wasn't very long. Yeah? Any complaints?
Yeah.
Which movie?
Here, I'll show you. It's my
We're playing a new.
What movie?
here it comes.
We're making a series.
Oh, you're making a movie.
Yeah. Little one.
Taking a ride with Wolfman?
Yeah.
Is that you, Wolfman?
I mean, damn it.
Started.
Yeah, it's pretty lucky that the car started.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, when the Wolfman came.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's all
I can't believe this is happening again.
where's
Hey, Dad, the car's not running.
Messenger?
I know.
Last time this happened, it was the Wolfman.
I told you I don't want to talk about it. You
Wolfman.
cannot go in
I
the
need to go to the bathroom.
Where's
There's a Wolfman. I'm trying to tell them that there's a Wolfman, and they're not listening just because I'm a kid.
Can you see where he's gone?
I can't see anything.
Can you just go check on him?
I'm not gonna go check on him. What if he is peeing?
Felix, it's time to get back here.
Felix! Felix, this isn't funny.
Here's my new painting. I did two
Oh.
Sesame Street paintings tonight.
Ooh, to Sesame Street.
I love Sesame Street.
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
Sunny day.
One time, I used to take the kids. I used to take Oliver when he was Felix. Well, he was like a little baby. I used to take him to the science center back when it was right by my house.
Oh, cool.
Oh, the old Telus, like Ash, the planetarium.
Yeah. And one time I went in and the basement was filled with an exhibit from Sesame Street, and they had a duplicate of the set, like the TV set, so you could go sit on the steps. And I never wanted to leave.
Oh.
Felix, were you waiting a long time backstage? Ooh, baby cakes. Can you, can you hook me up?
No, I wasn't waiting a long time.
I'm not.
Dax, did you send me a picture of your dog?
Yeah, I sent it to your messenger, I think.
I'm looking.
If not, I can.
I do not have any dog photos. Hey, Felix, guess where we are in exactly 1 month?
Disneyland, yay!
No, Vegas. I think we're in Vegas in a month. We'll have gone to the couple different museums, and also
1 month countdown.
right. I don't think I'll ever celebrate like guess what we're doing in a month? Leaving Disneyland. No.
Yeah, it'll end pretty soon. So Scott.
So what is the planetarium now? It's like an art thing or something now, eh?
Yeah.
Like, what do they do there? They have like high-end art shows or something?
They have rich art parties.
Richie art parties?
Yeah.
Stuff that we'll never be invited to?
Yeah.
We've been invited a few times, but I think we've
Not
gotten
this year.
ourselves uninvited.
We should crash it.
You learn a lot about wealthy people at those parties, though.
We should crash it. Could we crash the party one time?
We have a few times.
Oh, really?
The funny thing is, I remember the first time it happened, Mark and I literally snuck in through the back door.
Okay, well, the very first time they did it, they had an event called Look, and we had an event the same night called Don't Look.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it all began.
But that night, Mark and I snuck in through the back door and wandered around behind the scenes. And because we're dressed up for our own show, nobody thought to ask us if we were where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then I remember, here's the funny thing. I remember they had this projector, and Mark's like, oh, they just left that laying around. And I didn't think anything of it. But then, and we didn't take the projector, right? Are you ready for this story?
Yes.
So then, as we're cleaning stuff out, Mark was like dropping stuff off at the gallery for Find a Foot Home for this, and then he just contacted me to ask me if I had a projector he could borrow because he's back in town. And I said, no problem, you can have the big one. And he goes, oh, you mean the one from Contemporary Gallery? Is that funny? And now, what I would guess is I'm guessing that somebody gave him that, even though he considered taking it. I think that's how that worked out. But
sure.
I wasn't privy to the part of the story where it's like, wait, that's where that came from? It's just funny because we had a conversation about lifting it. And somehow we ended up with it anyway.
I love us.
And he's really one of my most respectable friends. Both Dax and Zach Abbott are like, wait, we're not your respectable friends? You are, by the way. Dax, you know what we kind of miss is the street clean.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah. Highlight of my week was when Felix was reading us Alan Littman's Einstein's Dreams. Looking forward to more of that. Felix isn't coming over this weekend because Jessica's having her face removed.
See how I look next Wednesday.
Yeah, don't forget to floss, you guys.
Learn lots of good things on the Isle of Roux, hey? The importance of flossing. So
What, did I say that wrong?
no, I'm just like laughing at all the other things that we've learned tonight on the Isle of Roux.
So, Rich, I ran into someone that knows you at Lilac Festival.
Dun, dun, dun.
She actually had seen my art, and she was like, "Oh, you should teach a class." And I said, "Oh, okay." And then she said Cochrane High School or something. She was and I said, "You must know Rich." And she says, "Oh yeah, I know him." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was just surprised. That's all.
Very cool.
I don't know if that will ever happen, but
Kelly, I think your story is missing some key components.
well, it was a lady, Asian lady. She said she teaches art to the little kids or something. I'm not sure.
In Cochrane High?
Yeah.
Hmm.
She said Cochrane.
I do teach in Cochrane. It's possible, though, that if you said you must know Rich, she just felt like she should say, yeah, I know Rich, because sometimes...
Well, I told her who you were and stuff, and she said she knows you.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, okay.
What was her name?
I forgot.
We did have a nice moment where we were at the grad banquet, and Jess said, Rich, the DJ, says he knows you. You gave him some Bruce Springsteen albums, which is funny because somebody had given us a bunch of Bruce Springsteen albums.
I don't fucking understand.
What?
I don't understand why everything has to be so difficult.
Oh.
Well, Dax, let me tell you why everything has to be difficult. Are you ready? If it was easy, we wouldn't have the joy of accomplishment. So
I
God
know,
is
but
all these challenges, or Mother God or Gaia, whatever it is that drives the bus, said,
I don't get. Okay, because I lost my phone from my old Joe Schmo from Idaho account, right?
yeah.
But I forgot to update the stupid phone number to my new number. So I tried to get a hold of Facebook and tell them that. Listen, I lost my phone. Can you change? Because they keep sending the text message to my old phone number. I've sent them emails that said, listen, I don't have that phone number anymore. Can you send it to, can you change the number? I've changed it on the Facebook. I made a whole new Facebook with my name. Why is it still going to this Joe Schmo from Idaho? And I'm like, can you delete that account for me? Because I can't get into it because I don't have that phone anymore. And they're like, no, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God, like they make it sound like it's a freaking Facebook profile. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a fuck. It's not like it's you know what I mean? Like
I used to get
the
really
way.
when people would
Like
swear on the live podcast because I was like, well, we're going to get shut off the air, but then if we did get shut off the air, I could go to bed early.
Why am I? I know I have a sailor mouth.
Yes, can you text me to my phone? Use your phone number and text me a picture of the dog.
They make it sound like your Facebook page is like some sort of like nuclear codes or something. You know what I mean? Like
I think that you're talking probably to an AI at this point, and the AI just isn't really set up to worry about those things, right? Like I think that.
Well, I know, I get it. It's just like
you're talking
I
about
know. I for sure when you send them an email, it gets sent to. But they sent me a whole list of stuff that I needed. They wanted a picture of my ID. They wanted this. They sent me a bunch of questions that I answered, and they're like, no. I'm just like, oh my God, like what do I need to do to like convince you people that I am who I am, you know?
I wonder if it's just for your security though that they're trying to protect you.
Well, I don't know.
So you don't get the bank fraud and all that.
It sounds pretty ridiculous. Like it's a stupid Facebook profile. I mean, I have like 12 now because I keep forgetting. I lose my phone. I lose my password, or I give my password to someone so they can check my account for me when I was away, and then I get out and they. Like one time this girl was like, yeah, she gave me the code, and I was like, that's not the code. Look, I typed it in. She's like, I don't know. It's like she kept it just because like she wanted to like creep on my Facebook and pretend to be me or something. I don't know. It was like, you're a weirdo. Like,
Yeah.
like ex-girlfriend or something. Yeah. I'm like, listen, like if you want my Facebook profile, just have it. I mean, I'll just make a new one, but like, why you gotta be so weird about it? Like, I just don't understand why this brand new tablet is coming up. Why it keeps sending me to this Joe Schmo from Idaho, and I'm like, that's not me anymore. Like, why can't I use my new? And then I put my phone number in it, and it says that's not a valid number. Man,
can you text me a picture of your puppy?
Oh yeah, give me a second. Yeah, I'll send it to your actual like phone. I think. Well, that's what it's.
Look, Felix, are you there?
Yeah.
I'm can I show you? I'm doing a painting of my molar. It's happy and healthy.
Oh,
And I'm going to ask them tomorrow Friday, if I can keep it. If it doesn't break when they're pulling it out, I'm going to ask for my tooth.
So that's funny because I was telling Dave that you had dental surgery.
Mm-hmm.
on Friday, and I asked him, like, is that the kind of thing where I should consider staying home? And he was really nice about it, kind of walked me through the, what do you call it? The PeopleSoft thing.
Mhm.
He's like, well, and of course we'll hope that she doesn't get an infection. That would be really bad. I'm like, no, that's like why she's
getting it out.
I didn't have the heart to tell him that you already had the infection.
You're like, that's the problem. That's cute. I wouldn't just be pulling out teeth randomly.
God forbid she doesn't get an infection. I was like, no, she has an infection.
God forbid.
Oh boy, she's gonna have rosy breath when she gets out of that surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Without the infection. You got a pretty nice breath with an infection, as far as breath
Because the
goes.
infection's in my brain. It's not in my mouth.
Is that why you're always moving my stuff and then saying that you didn't?
It must be. Maybe it's like affecting that part of my brain.
Yeah, that's funny.
Funny,
When
not
I say it's
funny.
funny, I don't really.
I know.
It's the opposite of funny. Imagine what you'll be like when your dementia kicks in.
Like next week.
She's relatively okay.
She's relatively okay.
I really hope that I lose my strength before I lose my mind.
You too.
I just don't want to be that guy flinging shit everywhere, you know?
Like, oh, look now too.
What?
It's a strawberry moon.
Right.
Next Wednesday is the strawberry full moon. Wild strawberries?
Right. I had a weird thought that
Yep.
just occurred to me as you said that.
What is it?
Well, when I was in school,
Mhm.
there's this one kid, pretty wild kid. She used to bring strawberry shortcake dolls to school and play with them all through lunch hour. Which, you know what, is not that strange, except from we were in grade 6. And so most of the kids were not playing with dolls at lunchtime in grade 6. And it was a bit of the talk of the town, like, because she was kind of a new kid, and then she would come in and she had this like series of like strawberry shortcake dolls, and she'd kind of sit down in the corner and play with them and have these adventures. And I think she was in my sister's class. My sister had asked her, why are you playing dolls? And she'd answered, I want to reclaim my childhood, which is pretty like sweet for like a young
And self-aware.
yeah, right. Pretty interesting. Now, I'm middle-aged now, or maybe even past middle-aged. I'm probably middle-aged. And she's one of my Facebook friends, and she was commenting the other day on her experience in grade 6, how she was like really addicted to playing with these strawberry shortcake dolls. Only she was telling the story from an adult perspective, where she admitted that mostly she was just huffing the scent. And so she had this like addiction to huffing strawberry shortcake dolls. And because she was shy about like wanting to sit there and sniff the dolls at lunch, she sort of mimicked playing with them. And I do that. I do this sort of thing a lot, where you're acting a lot weird or trying to cover up something that's a little weird by being super weird. Because it's actually like, as an adult, to find out she was just huffing the scented dolls, that makes way more sense, and it's kind of a cool story. Like, oh, why didn't you just tell us you're huffing plastic? You know, like, did you know anything about strawberry shortcake dolls, or am I speaking in a tone that you don't know?
I had strawberry shortcake dolls.
Did they smell funny?
Yeah.
Was that part of the?
No, they smelled lovely.
How'd that work though?
What do you mean? They were like,
Were they made out of cake? Did you eat them?
oh no.
They were plastic.
They had like the dresses that would fluff into little cupcakes, and
Yeah,
then the dresses
but like
would fluff
you're not
back.
realizing that somebody tried to make a doll and it was off gassing, and they said, "Oh, let's pretend it was
It's
supposed to do
supposed
this."
to be smelling like. That is funny. No, I did not think about it like that.
Right, because they were plastic and they smelled like candy.
Yeah.
What do you call
they
that?
really did. Off gassing. That's
Right.
hilarious. And that maybe is another reason for.
Why she was huffing the dolls?
No, I was going to say like my mental health, but why people of my generation, girls of my generation,
You're pretty
struggle
okay.
so hard.
Don't take that as a criticism.
Oh no, I don't. I'm not taking. I'm not like making light of it either. I'm saying like that's
A little bit.
something pretty consistent. Hey, look at these. That's your Cochrane
Put
Valley.
them in the,
I made them a while ago. I was going to see if I
Put them on
needed to
screen.
finish them at all, but
Oh, you just found them.
I just was looking through if I needed to finish any of them, but I think they're quite lovely. Oh, this goose could use some love. Look at this goose.
Goose love. Goose love. I was
Whoa.
feeling
I love this pigeon.
so
Felix, look.
bad. Asked my family doctor just what I had. I said, Doctor, Mr. MD, Doctor. Why am I singing?
Because you just felt like it.
Can you tell me what's ailing me? Doctor, I said, yeah. Stop it. I can't stop. What do you think of this painting?
On air. Oh, I love that.
Here, I'll show you what I'm looking
Still
at.
Still life. In indigo.
Okay. Okay, I got a dog. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Oh, I miss you doing that to the puppy.
Is that legible?
Mhm.
Is Felix still with us?
Yeah. I think so.
Trying to put him on this. Here, bud.
Hello.
What was the best part of your day, Felix?
I had a really yummy muffin for lunch.
Oh, yeah? I don't eat
Well, I
muffins.
guess I
What?
also read 2 books. I read 2 books at school, which were pretty fun.
What books
Oh,
were you
nice.
reading?
Give me a minute. I always forget how to pronounce the name. Give me 2 seconds.
You know what? We don't judge when somebody mispronounces from reading.
Yeah. Never.
Bungo Stray Dogs is what it's called.
Cool.
I don't think you said that right.
No, I said that right. I found it. I can pronounce
That was
it.
my
I'm
idea
sure
of funny, I
it's-
hate to say.
Very cool, Felix.
Do you like my drawing, Felix?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of it so far?
The one you're doing right now?
Yeah.
Sorry, the one you're doing right now.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
I thought you were talking about the magpie. I can't see it, the drawing you're doing right now.
Where can't you see it?
I can't see it. I can
Why
see
can't
the
you
pen. Yeah, I can see that.
What is it?
Oh, it's a white. Oh. I see it.
You like it or not? You don't like it, you love it.
Yeah.
Watch this. Ready? Ready?
Yep. Yeah, that's cool.
I did one of these drawings for Kelly last week, but she wasn't paying attention. I said, do you like the magic reveal? And she's like, I wasn't watching. Did you like it this week, Kelly? I still wasn't watching.
Fun in the corner of my eye. Yes, it's cool.
Oh, what time is it? Oh, 8:19. Alrighty. So we are going to go on a road trip, forbidden as it is.
Wait.
What?
Is that, would you call that caustics? What are you doing there? Wax and
I
watercolor?
used
What?
crayon on white paper to create a relief. So where I wrote and then I did just white watercolor over top. I would think of it as a relief painting.
Are you David Chow?
Secretly I am.
Oh, I knew it.
Does he do that as well?
There's nothing he doesn't do.
Yeah.
As you should know, you are him.
I thought I was what's the other guy?
Alan Watts.
I
You're
thought it was Alan
everybody.
Watts.
Oh, sick.
Jess was reading Alan Watts and she kept saying, "This is what you say. This is what you say." She's like, "You should read this book. You'd love it." And I'm like, "Unless I hate it, right?"
Because that's all my words.
Yeah, I don't have to read that. Yeah, I wrote it. Yeah.
There was one of the Douglas Copeland books hit way too close to a book I was writing, and I remember vividly my sister calling me up and like, "Oh, you got to read this Douglas Copeland book. You're gonna love it." I'm like, "I am reading that book, and I hate it." And I just threw out my last novel because basically that guy's more famous and he's older than me, and he just wrote the book that I was working on, and his has an ending, and I was 3 chapters in when I decided to throw in the bucket.
Do you have you can handle some darkness? Yeah.
Somewhat.
Darkness?
Yeah.
Like, you mean like negativity, or what do you mean darkness?
Sort of like, there's no such thing as cold or whatever. It's just not hot.
Yeah.
The absence of, yeah.
Yeah. So like, that it's like darkness is just like a matchstick away from not darkness.
Yes.
What I'm getting at is I got this crippling book by
Wait, before you tell me anything else, can I just throw an idea at that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you remember when you were a kid, there was a toy at the toy store that was like a bed full of pins, and you could stick your face in it, and like instantaneously a sculpture of your face would appear?
Yeah.
And it was usually metal pins, right?
Yeah.
In our case, we have one with red plastic pins at our house. I think we bought it at an art gallery, but it's basically like, it's just like a little tray, and you squish your face into it, and a duplicate of your face shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like, if you ever stopped and thought about how your eyeball works, it's not like a projector. It's like the back side of your eyeball is like a cushion of 1,000 pins.
Mm.
And when light hits that pin, it kind of presses.
What? Those rods?
You ever thought about how the image gets from your eye into your brain? It's a little bit like the back side of that area is almost like you're touching certain parts, and it creates a shape that you can make sense out of, right?
Mm.
Now, that said, that really colors how you imagine seeing something, right? If you imagine that you're not really seeing anything, that's just your brain interpreting the shapes that are around you. So it's pretty wild to think about like what the world would look like to an alien that had different kind of eyes than us. We imagine aliens would come here and they might see a Mona Lisa and think that we're worth saving. But if they don't see it with the same spectrum as us, they're not going to see the same painting as us. And dogs wouldn't see the Mona Lisa as it is. They see it as a dog sees it, right? Or a bee wouldn't see the Mona Lisa anything like the way we see it. A bee sees in terms of heat. It would see something, but not what we see. So I always thought, if, like people talk about what happens if the aliens come, and I would always think to myself, well, probably they'd see the Mona Lisa and decide we were worth saving. Like they would see our great art pieces and decide we're worth saving. But only just recently did it occur to me that they probably wouldn't see what we see closely enough for anything of our art to be relevant in the slightest.
Mm.
So when you say the absence of darkness and light, that comes back to that's a very specific human condition.
Mm.
And other than us being here to interpret it, just even the concept of darkness and light doesn't really matter. It's just that we're more comfortable when the light's touching that back plate of our eye shed.
Yeah. This species is super dependent on those rods and cones. Yeah.
Okay, what were you going to tell me that I cut you off? Because
this Portuguese dude.
Yeah.
He wrote a book. He wrote like 400 passages of a book, and then he died on him, and then someone found him, 40 years later.
Yeah.
organized them, and then published them. And then 40 years later, they finally, reached popular demand.
Right.
And this book is called the Book of Disquiet. And if you've got the stomach for it, there's some Buddha in there, and some very, very interesting metaphysical agony. It's so good.
Why do you say agony? What makes it so painful?
Because this guy is so good at writing.
Mm.
The Book of Disquiet. Yeah, that's I'm
Did you
pushing that. So good.
disquiet?
Disquiet, yeah.
Disquiet. Yeah, yeah.
Noise.
And now that you've heard that word, it's going to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a name for that called like Rikerson syndrome, when you learn something new and it starts to show up all the time.
Cool.
I actually kind of like how that sounds, because sometimes when I follow like a Western version of what people have turned, like yoga and Buddhism into, they're kind of like selling their version of Amway with somebody's ancient,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of find like
cleanse your karma with 4 easy payments.
Yeah. So sometimes I feel like when I hear like Western versions of those things, they seem a little bit like, my thing with not wanting to be told I have to apply, or being submissive and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like a lot of those doctrines really prize passiveness. And I don't want to be passive. I don't want to be passive aggressive. I want to be straight up aggressive. And I want to live with purpose. And so if the book of, did you say Disquiet is about allowing yourself to, let loose the scream, I think that sounds pretty good to me. Because I just don't want to be well behaved, ever. And maybe I could sometimes, but I don't want it to be like my state of being. And sometimes I get kind of like my feelings hurt, because it's like I feel like people are judging me, or like Dax was saying, like, what's their problem? Like, they don't know me. Why are they trying to figure me out? But also kind of realize maybe I also dislike being harmonious and quiet sometimes too. So maybe they're just picking up on my urge to shake the tree, and they don't want their tree shook, so they're kind of coming at me before I come at them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's often, I talk about this at school a lot. Like, some kid ruined my ruler. They saw a metal ruler and they thought, oh, what I'll do is I'll try and bend that, and then I'll bend it back, and then I'll bend it again. By the end of the class, you got this piece of metal that you could never use to measure or draw a straight line with. And that the ruler was there at the beginning of class, and the same kids that wrecked the grade 12s painting last week were sitting where the ruler ended up getting wrecked. And it's like, look at, like, I could talk to you guys 100 times about this ruined ruler, and each time they're going to be upset that I would ever think it was them. And they know it was them. They'll admit it was them later, but at the time, they're so offended if I ask them if it was them. Like that scene in Stand By Me where the kid stole the money and he was mad that the teacher blamed him. It was like, yeah, I took it, but she didn't know I took it. Like, that's a really frustrating thing to live with when you're a teacher, because this idea, oh, this person thinks I'm bad, so I might as well be bad, is a really disruptive way to set up your day.
Yeah, that's delicate. Being accusatory, that's delicate.
Well, and I would never actually say to a kid, let's say if they're lying to me, I would be very careful about saying to them that they're lying, because if they think they're telling the truth, it can be devastating, And they might think they're telling the truth, and they might not be telling the truth, right? Or maybe their truth is different than yours.
You had said, I hung on to this. You had said this behavior happens all the time where, well, they think I'm going to steal it, so let's prove them right.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they thought I would, so why not give them give them what they want.
You know, and a lot of the kids that misbehave are pleasers. And they know that you expect them to misbehave. That's their role. And when you don't know how to talk to them. So they're trying to help you out by misbehaving so you have something to talk to them about. And then sometimes you're not paying attention to them. They'll point out to you that they've been misbehaving because they like you and they miss you and they want you to pay attention.
How about that ruler, huh?
Yeah. You know who else is bad for looking for the negative attention? My wife. I married one of those kids.
Yep.
She is the loveliest lady, but she is a handful. It is 8:31. We're going to do this for another hour. Oh, there's a picture of Felix's dog. Give me more dog than that. Give me the whole dog, Felix, and I'll paint Colin a painting. Are you there, little buddy?
Yeah, I can.
Get me a whole photo of the dog. What are you doing this weekend?
Well, I have 2 birthday parties.
Oh, yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Normally, Felix comes to my house, but we figured if Jess is wounded from surgery, we'll probably poison ourselves trying to cook for ourselves. I used to be able to take care of myself.
Domesticated.
Are you domesticated? I think you're quite a cook, actually. I think I know this about you.
I was paid to cook, but I keep that a secret so that I could get cooked for.
That you're telling me a lie. That's the truth? Is that the truth?
Not so much. There's like roles. There's like societal roles. Like my partner is a fantastic recipe hunter, chef, baker. I let her run that role, and I'll clean up after.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the symbiotics. We can both have full bellies and a clean kitchen. So I've been off the tools.
What I would do is I would get up and I'd make Jessie breakfast as a surprise.
Mm.
She would go, "Oh, thank you," and then she'd move the plate somewhere. And then after a little while, she would make another breakfast. And I'd be like, "Do you not like the food that I made?" And she's like, "I just looked weird." And I was like, "Okay." So that's fine. Like I don't love cooking. So if you're not dying for me to cook, I'd be happy to never do it again. She's like, "Yeah, no, don't take it the wrong way. You can make me stuff." And I'd make her something else. She's like, "Yeah, I'm just going to put this over here." And I was like, "Look, just don't have me cook if you're not going to eat it." Like, I'm not bothered at all. She goes, "No, I love your cooking. I love it." So this happened about 11 times. Then I realized she just doesn't want me to cook for her. And I'm totally okay with that. There's no hard
I
feelings
don't know
at all.
what my okay.
Can I finish this
Yes,
story?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. And then, because this is all in the first week that we met or started living together. And then I, wanted to make sure that I was also doing the dishes. And so I do the dishes and I would notice them moved. And so I started looking to see why were the dishes getting moved. And can you imagine doing the dishes, stacking them to dry and wondering how did I misstack these dishes? Like, what did I do that made her want to restack the dishes the way they do? What magic does she know that I don't know? So I went in and I spied on her and I caught her washing the dishes that I had already washed. And I was like, "Okay, I'm not trying to be difficult here, but why are you washing the dishes that I already washed?" And she explained to me that I had not been washing them to her standards. And I was like, "That's totally cool too. But like, if you're going to wash the dishes after I've washed them, is it really necessary for me to wash
Be
the
part of
dishes?
this
Yeah.
process?
And then she's like, no, I would love it if you don't wash the dishes. And I'm like, it sounds like a trap. You know, like a lot of people would think this is a perfect situation where my spouse doesn't want me to take part in cooking or cleaning. However, here's how I found out she's got me is if she's sick or busy, I literally don't remember how to take care of myself. So I'm 100% dependent on her.
It is like what a horrible person I am.
That's not what I'm saying.
It's like no, it's like I realize
it just works out
I've been
ironically
trying-
that when
it's
you're
totally
late
not
at work,
well.
I
Yeah.
get starving because I've forgotten how to take care of myself. And then I really do feel like Fred Flintstone. And
It's a weird thing because you are not that person, and like you said, I'm dealing with my own and unpacking my own like control issues, and I've been thinking about this a lot too, actually. But I love like we were talking about, like food is like a love language in my family, but it's also I wonder if it's also a control language. But it's like
I don't know. How did you like my eggs?
I don't know. I
Didn't try my eggs.
kind of think
They look
maybe,
weird. Did they
like,
look weird?
it freaks me out. I don't know. Something freaked me out.
About like you weren't sure if I cooked them enough.
I don't know.
Anyhow.
That's like
Also-
a lot of unpacking.
Also
though,
because
know it's
I
like-
drive out to Cochrane.
Yeah.
You'll usually drive us to work and then we'll trade spots and I keep driving, right?
Mhm.
And then I remember your mom was very concerned when we met that sometimes I'd let you drive. Why is Jesse driving? It's like, well, I drive all the way to Cochrane every day, and so it's kind of a nice treat to not have to drive sometimes.
Mhm.
But also, like, because I pay for the rent and you pay for the groceries, usually we put the gasoline on your credit card.
Mhm.
And so when you get out of the car to start pumping gas, I can see the cowboys pulling up in their trucks like, that little darling shouldn't be out there pumping gas. So she doesn't pump the gas. I want to be clear about that. I do all the gas pumping.
Oh my gosh! One time I pumped the gas and I got gasoline all over his pants.
She handed me the nozzle while it was flowing and sprayed it right across my front groin.
On his way to work.
Now she was out of the car a few seconds after she sprayed me with gasoline. By the time I drove to Cochrane, I was like kind of tripping balls again. And I got into work and nobody could stand being around me. They're like, dude, like you can't work like this. You smell bad. And I was like, no, my wife spilled gasoline on me. And one of the teacher's aides went to Walmart and bought me pants and underpants. And for years, every time I got dressed in the morning, I'd put on these underpants that some lady bought me. Now tease Jesse about why I was wearing some other lady's underpants.
That came out wrong.
No, it didn't. I meant it to sound like What do you think of this, Felix?
What? Oh, yeah, analog. That's so cute.
Does it look a little bit like analog?
That looks
I
like
wonder if I'm crossing a line here showing analog on the internet.
Probably.
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 All right, I'm going to put some floorboards on this, and I'm going to do it by pulling very broad strokes with the brush and mostly just using water. I'm going to put some shadow here, and I pull with my arm. I create the sense of a straight line by pulling with my arm. Broad strokes. I also have to remember to change the size of my brush for the sake of variety.
Okay.
Oh, that's really weird.
Hmm.
For some reason, I've been storing my brushes in my ink.
Oh yeah, that's the water.
Yeah, but it's nice. It's kind of soaks in. Felix, how many days of school you got left?
14 in school. 16 like total school days, but I've got 14 in school.
My kids have 4 days of classes left,
Whoa.
and then exam week or exam month, really.
Yeah.
Just in case you're thinking of coming to my school. Done in June. How many minutes left of this broadcast?
Like an hour, 50 minutes.
It seems extra long tonight because I was sure Dax was going to get us bumped off the air. And we're still here. Is Dax still with us? I wonder if he saw my dog painting. Dog. Funny dog.
Oh, that's really nice.
Isn't it? It's not my first rodeo. Guess what?
What?
My kids were all in an art contest this year, and it was their first rodeo. Not exactly brain surgery, is it? Zach, I tinker with the ChatGPT, not to cut corners, but to learn about who I'm dealing with here.
It's cool. It's such a tool. Yeah.
And so I dropped my paintings into ChatGPT,
Okay.
and I was quite pleased to find out ChatGPT could recognize my style.
No, that.
It could discuss my content with some depth, like, oh, I see you've referenced Olympia here, and I was like, wow, that is quite a nice moment. And then
Scott.
is
Sorry.
he joking about huffing
Keep
gas?
talking. So funny.
What was I saying?
That it recognizes references that you
Yeah. I actually picked a few of my contemporaries and asked to ChatGPT to tell me who's the best artist of us. It was pretty fun. And in some cases, like the ChatGPT started talking about some of my friends and contemporaries about being really great painters, and I was like a little bit kind of like wounded and jealous, like ChatGPT. And I was also careful to do this test on the public account, like the temporary account that doesn't know anything about you, because I didn't in any way want my ChatGPT that kind of knows me to start telling me what I wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But you can put your paintings into ChatGPT, and it'll tell you if you're a known or not known artist, and it'll tell you a rough value of what you should be pricing your work at, which is pretty neat. It can tell you all kinds of things about what ChatGPT thinks you meant by the painting. Pretty bang on. I got a pretty bang on happy reading, and I quite liked about what. And I didn't tell ChatGPT. I can't speak. When I showed the paintings, first of all, I didn't tell it who I was, but it did recognize me, and I didn't tell it that I was me, right? So I was like, what do you think of this guy? And it was telling me what it thought of this guy. Only I'm the guy. Now, I do wonder how like seductive the program is, that maybe it's telling me what I want to hear, but smart enough to tell me that it would never tell me what I want to hear. But it's interesting. There's all kinds of interesting layers to what I was learning and discovering doing this. And I also got the feedback I kind of needed. There's a couple times I got the feedback I needed just at the right time. Once was when I met Alexander Elliott. He had met Picasso, and he knew Durer, and he knew Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali looked up to him.
all bears.
What did I say, Durer?
Yeah.
Is that the wrong one? Did he know Durer? Or was
All
that like the
early.
wrong century?
Guys, I'm gonna be right back.
Okay, buddy.
Oh yeah, guess what?
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
what?
What were you gonna say?
Just a quick, just on the chat tip. How do you feel your AI radar is.
I'm really good at it.
Right? Like you can read genuine text, or you could read like you could like see the videos generated by.
I spot it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I'm actually shocked because I don't think the style is actually quite distinctive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because a couple of my friends were getting really super outraged that there was weather warnings, and they were comparing the weather warnings of the 1970s to the weather warnings of today, freaking out about how these, call us libtards, the liberals were trying to create hysteria by creating this false narrative that it's going to be warm this summer. And I'm looking at this going, that's a ChatGPT image that's like,
Just immediate, yeah.
When you're laying out all your mad knowledge, like, going back to like flat Earth and stuff, if you're putting up a photo of flat Earth, proving that the Earth is flat and it's got that style that you see, it kind of reminds me of like the Monopoly animations. There's a certain sort of, and it's always on brown paper. There's a go-to ChatGPT style, and like I'll often see people making political comments because if the cartoon backs up their beliefs, they'll buy into it 100%. And presumably, if they didn't back up their beliefs, I wonder. It'd be interesting to see how quickly people can read and acknowledge that that's ChatGPT when it doesn't conform with their political. Right. If it's comfortable, they don't question. They get fooled right away. But if it's uncomfortable, they're looking closer at the pixels. But I earnestly think we're heading into some uncharted territory, and it's going to matter a lot more that you can share how you make it. Oh, Zach!
Yeah.
I threw in my artwork, and I threw in my contemporaries artwork, and I asked it to tell me who was using a projector.
Caught him.
Yeah. Well, I knew because these are all people that I've talked about their process.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't judge if somebody's using a projector, and I know why they don't talk about it, because there's a perceived disingenuous value reduction when you talk about it. Mm-hmm. But I have a projector, and I am not shy about saying that I will use a projector, but I'm pretty adamant. The only time I will use a projector is if I can think of a way to make my life more complicated with the projector. If I can find a way to do something I haven't done before, that's harder than painting with my hands and my eyes, I'll find excuses to use the projector. But
as a tool,
as just something to experiment with. Yeah. And I do understand why those people that primarily use projectors, they're actually and again, I should be careful what I say because I'm not trying to disrespect them in any way, but I do know that some of my friends that liked what we're doing with Rumble House but could never take part because they didn't want to show up with a projector.
It's interesting. Yeah. If it becomes a cage, then it's not good. But if it's
it's a bit of a bird. Like I had a really long conversation today with a couple people because it was one of those conversations I started, and as people would pass through the staff room, they'd kind of join in on the conversation.
Yeah.
So somebody had asked me, what did I think of this red painting with the blue stripe? I'm like, well, you're talking about Barnett Newman's Voice of Fire.
Yeah.
It's a blue painting with a red stripe. I don't remember the exact numbers. I think they bought it for $160,000 and it's worth like $4 million now. Like whatever we paid for it, it's multiplied.
It was an investment
by 40%. So if you're thinking about it as an art purchase, you can't complain about the price because it's gone up in value considerably. Mm-hmm. But also, I kept trying to explain, like it's not so much that painting is worth $4 million. And when a painting is worth more than a person's house, that is a sign of a problem with our values. But if you think about paintings less like, is this a nice painting? Is it worth a lot of money because it's a nice painting? And more like a placeholder for value. I might take $1 million and decide I'm going to take this $1 million and I'm going to attribute to that really good painting over there. Okay. And then that good painting over there, it's almost like I wrote a check, but instead of owning a check, I bought a painting for $1 million. That painting I can now trade for $1 million. It's really no more abstract than having $1,000 bill. Right. If you have $1,000 bill and a $10 bill and you crash an airplane on an island Both of those are paper you can't eat, right?
Mhm.
And if you had a choice between a coconut and $1,000 bill,
Coconut.
when you're the last person alive and all there is to eat is coconuts, you're going to pay $1,000 for a coconut, no question, because you can't use that dollar
Right.
unless there's an agreed value to that dollar,
Right.
right? And if your province separates and Canadian dollars don't mean anything here anymore, then again, your Canada dollar is just a piece of paper. So there's a perceived value to that painting. And once you establish a value to that painting, it's not really about what is that painting worth, is it that painting is a placeholder for money. Then they wanted to know about why the banana duct tape to the wall was valuable. And I said, well, there's a trajectory that started 100 years ago, 112 years ago, when Duchamp put a toilet in an art gallery. And since then, we've been doing this looking for the simplest, most offensive thing you can stick to a wall. And it kind of went from like a toilet in the art gallery, which started out as a joke, but turned out to be brilliant. So then Duchamp took ownership over it. There was a guy that crucified himself to a Volkswagen. There was a Russian guy that nailed his nutsack to the ground in Red Square, right? And so there's these like plummeting expectations of what would be the weirdest, simplest piece of art. And there's thousands of them, but this one particular piece, even if the purchase was a hustle, even if the guy got his best friend to buy it for $160,000, he hit that moment at the right time, the right moment. A couple of years earlier, it would have been too early for that to become a meme. A couple of years later, somebody else would have thought something equally stupid. He hit that moment at just the right time that the piece sold. And it became an international sensation that it sold, right? The fact that piece sold is what the art's about. And then, they're like, well, is that banana rotted by now? And it's like, no, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
It's a concept, and the banana is not relevant. So once you buy that concept, if you own the property papers for the ability to display that banana and that piece of tape, you can live in America and somebody from Lisbon can send you an email, money transfer you $100,000 for a weekend. You email them the rights to display that work. There's a set of instructions that explains exactly how to do it, and they can go to the store and pick up a banana and duct tape and tape it to the wall. And the concept that they own that concept of the banana duct tape to the wall is what they're renting for the weekend. And so it's a concept. It's anybody that understands an NFT should be able to understand that banana. And a lot of the people that wanted to cash in on the NFTs.
That's a good way to explain it to kids. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's really good. That's
what I do. I explain things to kids.
No, but I appreciate that, level.
But it's also awesome. It's also awesome to notice that a lot of the people that got excited about the NFTs were the same people that would get upset about a banana being taped to the wall, and it's the exact same concept. It's a placeholder for value, and it's inconsequential. It's just a random. That thing took off at the right time, and it's not much different than. Sorry, I'm just checking my stuff, and a daily show popped up, but it's not much different than buying a lottery ticket, right? Like that guy hit the right moment and sold this banana for a lot of money.
That's interesting.
Okay, so Scott, the idea of painting with one color, I will tell you this. I started making my own indigo paint, and now none of the other paints feel special enough. And so I'm definitely going through a blue phase. And I think I'll paint 200 or 300 blue paintings, and then I'm going to have an art show, and I'm going to put them all up. We've had a couple ideas of how the show would go. We thought we would be mailing things out to people we really adore, and we got busy and didn't get to that. We used to have a wheel we're going to spin to come up with letters. Kind of took a break from that. We were making space movies, and now it's going to be Wolfman movies for a very short time. Then we're going to do some other random things. But definitely, I was going to give away all my paintings, but the mail is so slow that I've stacked up, I think, close to 100 paintings, more than 100 paintings. 500. So I said to Jesse the other day, I think I want to have a show. I want it to be 3 hours long. I don't want to have to put up with any shit. I'm not going to apply for anything. I think my show will be in my home. and I'll announce the date and the time. And if you're my friend and you want to come look at my artwork, you can come by. If you're Zach and you're in Vancouver, you can FaceTime me and I'll show you all my stuff through the phone, send you pictures, whatever. Actually, are you coming home this summer, Zach?
Yeah, just make the show late June so I can, piggyback.
Well, there's two things, right? There's the show I want to put in my apartment, and then like I said, Cam wants to kind of start up a gallery. So I think that would be a really good match for you.
I was trying to get a mural gig this summer, but I think I'll just come for fun.
Okay, did we talk about the fact that I have all Mark's mural paint?
It might have come up, but
I'm paying to store it.
Oh,
It's costing me money by the inch to store enough mural paint to cover a fairly large bridge. And Mark was leaving, and I purchased his paint off of him. I put up my mural. I thought I'd be repainting it all the time, but I've been really lucky that I've just done a few minor touch-ups. And there is quite a stack of paints, especially if you can make a painting that's got a lot of browns and greens.
Okay, I'm interested.
And then so set up a mural in Alberta and come use up all my paint because I don't cost me money to store it anymore.
Cool. Okay. I want to do like a big bison, browns and greens. I want to do big birch, bison herd. Yeah.
The colors I have left over, I mean, I have a ton of colors for the murals, but I have an overabundance of the greens and browns if that's something you're into.
Okay. Do you see any shops in need that I could reach out to?
I don't know.
Yeah.
If I like to talk to people about that stuff, I'd probably do a mural myself.
Yeah.
Scott, you're on the list.
Absolutely, Scott. Actually, Scott was one of the people that I miss showing my work to. And so what had happened was I was sitting at my desk. It was lunchtime. I was taking a little break. I started flipping through pictures, thinking, like, what am I going to paint next week? And I saw a photograph of – no, it wasn't about what to paint. I'm making these weird prints, and I'm going to show you a print next week, but I'm doing cyanotype prints. And I was looking at my old photos, and I saw a photo somebody took of my artwork shining through the window from my birthday last year, our birthday last year. And I really missed exhibiting my work. And the first person I thought of was Scott. I thought, you know what? Instead of having a show and hoping Scott shows up, I'm going to turn my apartment into a tiny little private gallery. And I'm going to send an invitation to all my friends. If they want to just tell me when they're coming, we'll be waiting by the front door. We can walk them upstairs and come look at the work. And if they want to buy some stuff, we can talk about it. But I just want to share my work again. Like I do miss interacting with people. And so I'm going to purchase, Zach, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to purchase 2 or 3 walls that I can fold up and put behind one of these curtains when I'm not using them, or maybe stick them under the bed. But I want exhibition walls. So one of the tiniest reasons we decided we might shut Rumble down is we bought this tent that's like fireproof and we can use it as events. Yeah. And we're like, this presents an opportunity for a lot of freedoms. Only we never use the freedoms because we got the gallery. So the idea that I had this business tent, not a Canadian Tire tent, but a full-on fireproof event tent. And then it was just like a week ago, it occurred to me I wanted event walls. So like the kind of like funny ones that come in a folding container and you pull them apart and there's some like snappity doodle things and you magnet them together. And I'm either thinking green so I can continue using it as a green screen, or black so that I can use it to block out the windows. But also I want it to be cork so that I can stick pins in it. And I basically want a big cork Velcro wall that I can exhibit my work on when I want to invite people over, and I can tuck it away when I'm not using it.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I'd want to do is take stuff off my walls and hang my artwork. And also because I've been working on paper, I think having these cork walls would be like, I'm going to spend like $1,000 on walls, or I could spend $1,000 on frames. You know, I'd rather just
Right.
have pins in the work. And you're just realizing this now? Or?
No, I'm just like, I really like your
I have
idea.
over 100 paintings on paper with my own blue ink.
And our house is so, like, I feel like that would be a really nice way to share our space
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah.
Speaking of tents, I actually did get an industrial one.
Where did you get it?
Impact Canopies in BC.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I used it at Lilac Festival.
That's amazing.
Very cool.
What
You're
color
unstoppable
what
now.
color did you get?
White.
Did you have options for colors?
Yeah, but I like the white.
We paid a little extra for purple.
But the thing that you want for the grid walls, a lot of the makers, like the markets, they use they're metal. They go together. You use twist ties to attach them, like together,
Yeah.
and they sit on the ground. But you can get some that actually have wheels on them, and you can move them around. I have a little grid wall that's on wheels, and I hang all the resin on it, including some paintings. And it's super small. You just take it apart. The wheels come off, and then you can put it wherever you want, under your couch if you wanted to.
Cork?
It wasn't cork. It was it's a grid wall.
My dear, I want cork and felt. I know exactly what I want. I can see it in my head. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I was about to tell you how much I hate those walls, and then you told me you had one. I was like, oh no, like they're wonderful. Good for you. But I have this very specific image in my head about what I want.
Yeah.
And there's
you want a Velcro with cork, right? Is that what you're telling me?
no, I have a couple of images in my mind. One thing I could live with temporarily would be 6-foot walls that fold into like accordion shaped.
Yeah, accordion folds.
But only if it was 3/4 inch thick. I don't want any of the cardboardy trifolds that Jess and I use at school. I want cardboard that's like 3/4 of an inch thick, and I would like it perforated so it zigzags through my room, and I could live with a cardboard wall for probably a year or two before it got too shabby. If it's not cardboard, like brown cardboard, then I would like a cork or could be cardboard on the inside, covered in felt. We have rolling walls at my school, and I understand what you're saying about the rolling wall, but I don't want that much mechanics. I want something that's very lightweight and easy to move. And so it would either be something that I can it holds together because it's kind of like a folding card, or it's something that's got like snapping attachments, and I just make L shapes from the top. But I have a very specific idea of where I want my art to exist. And I think it's amazing the way people set up those shows. And I see pictures of people's stuff kind of like attached to, sometimes it looks like those chain link fences as well, and or scaffolding even, but that's not what I want for my show. I have like a very specific image.
Well, when we did the Lilac Festival, the other vendor that was next to me, we attached her, they're called the Christmas spiders. They're glass, or they're crystal, and we had them attached to the top of the roof of the tent so people could see them.
Cool.
Scott was saying massive rolls of cork, and I did have the idea that if I did take all my art and shelves down, covering the entire walls of my apartment with cork, and just being able to pin the things up. It was kind of what I was going to propose to the barber shop, is if we took those nice walls and permanently put in cork boards for them, they would look, that cork brown would look nice with their blue walls, and then they could exhibit things pinned up. And it was just a concept I had, but I also, like, we were so sick of people intruding on us when we were trying to run the gallery that the last thing I wanted to do was intrude on the barbershop people. Yeah. But Kelly, thank you for those suggestions. And I follow all your stuff. I'm glued to your work, so I have seen those walls. But I have I have a different feeling for what I want. Because the other thing is this will be a living part of my home, right? So I don't want anything that feels industrial. I don't want anything that feels like it's part of a market. I don't want anything that feels like it reminds me of school. It's got to be separate and comfy and cozy. I really want my paintings hanging on something cozy.
Okay.
Which is weird because, like, the brown cardboard, I find very appealing when it's crisp, but white cardboard makes me want to bang myself in the face with a stick.
It is the association with school.
For sure.
Yeah.
Or markets. Like, I wouldn't. We got rid of our folding table because I'm like certain things I just don't want to deal with anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
I've been using someone's folded table for the last 5 years.
Yeah, we had about 5 to give away when we shut the gallery down. I don't think we have any left, do we?
This one's a folding plastic table, and then occasionally I'll use. It came from IKEA. It's like I have it here. I don't have it up, but it clamps on the outside of the table, and so you can put extra stuff, like you can put your glue gun, your paints, or whatever. So if you don't have enough room on your table, you can put. I put like little resin things on the side as an extra thing. Okay. And then I use a lot of the IKEA shelving units to put bears or resin little figures on.
There is an IKEA shelf that's very famous, and they tried to replace it a few years ago, and all the record fans in the world freaked out because this shelf is just the perfect size for records. And our apartment is absolutely filled with these shelves, unless they're the shelves that I built, which are also the size for records. But one thing I had considered was building walls to cover those shelves. So essentially I'd have a big cork wall, and it might just have some little holders that fit Velcro into the shelves. Not Velcro, but like if I had the same number of squares that just slid in, and I would turn all my record shelves into exhibition walls. What bothered me about that would be not being able to get at my records. But I hear what you're saying, and actually, I think, Kelly, an exhibition wall that came from IKEA would be more conducive than something that came from like some event center, because I'm really like
more like home based.
Yeah, it needs to feel like a home.
You can turn a lot of IKEA stuff into a home, like all the spice racks that they had. You know, the little wooden ones that go on the wall. They're actually holding all my paint.
Yeah.
So I used that, or I used there was a plate holder for dishes when it was drying. I use it for paintings.
Yeah. Our Wheel of Doom was a Lazy Susan from IKEA.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff you can, like, if you go and look and you just take a walk in IKEA, you go, oh, I can make this into that. I can do this. You know what I mean? It's more of a, for other, like for us, for artists and some people that are thinking outside the box, you look at something and you go, I can make that into something else.
Have you ever gone into the junk room there by the cash out?
The what?
When you go up to the till, there's kind of a junk room of stuff.
Oh, the clearance one. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll look there.
Yeah, pretty good space for reinventing and
Well, I had 2 lac tables here that were used for resin, and then I replaced them with. I actually was waiting for it to come in stock, and it's a workbench, and it's 3 tiers, and because my resin wasn't curing, like it was actually curing on an angle, I actually did do I have a measure to make sure it's completely level. So I found out.
Do you do your resin in the house?
Yep. It's non-toxic.
Oh, okay.
It's non-toxic, and you can use. It's made here in Calgary. It's the company name is Resonate, and they deliver it to your door for free. So, and they're really good. So, what happened was I took a course from Motive Art Academy, which Viviana was doing it, was teaching the course on how to do resin, and I liked the resin, and so I went from 1 mold to 600 molds, and then I know more about resin than she does, and so they ask me now.
You do know a lot about resin.
Oh yeah, I know what works.
Does it smell bad?
What?
Does it smell bad?
No, it smells like almonds.
What's it made out of?
I'm not sure actually. Like I haven't really read the label, but it is non-toxic. You can't get it on your any pant area or anything because it will stick. If you get it in your hair, well, rubbing alcohol maybe is the only thing that will get it out.
What's the condition of your tables? Are they all like resin edges and drips and stuff?
No, so what I do is so resin doesn't stick to tarps, and resin also doesn't stick to wax paper. So if you put wax paper under anything you're putting resin on, it just comes right off.
What about the random spills that don't hit the wax paper?
If you make sure you have tarp below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you have any permanent stickies that?
I did have resin accidentally spill on the floor, and I had to replace the foam floor.
Oh, foam floor.
Yeah.
Yes, our living room doubles as our art space, and we don't own a lot of nice stuff, but we do have invested in some very nice carpets, and we do most of our eating and artwork over top of the nice carpets. So it's only because we're the kind of people that could live with stains on our carpets if they were art stains. That
it's like when you work with indigo watercolor over top of indigo.
You drop in the carpet,
it
seems to work quite well.
They also use indigo in dyeing their stuff, so I feel like it's fine.
That's how I ended up learning that I could use ChatGPT to identify my artwork and price out a value for my artwork, because I wanted to know if I could. I'd showed Oliver a picture of my balcony. He asked, "Why do you have a Persian rug on your balcony?" I'm like, "No, that's like a
Rona.
That's a Rona
special."
We have a couple Persian rugs, but they're not on the balcony. And so then I was like, "Well, how do I even know if I have nice Persian rugs? Like, I trust the guy we got them from." But I looked into it and I was asking ChatGPT, like, what can I look for my Persian rugs? And it's like, send me a photo and I'll tell you what it's worth. And I was like,
cool.
That's really neat.
That is super cool.
So we can take pictures of our rugs, front and back, and it can tell us the value of the rug and where it came from and narratives about what that's neat. And that's when I decided, cool. without using, I did a temporary blank slate so that ChatGPT knows nothing about me. And I threw my own paintings in, and it was quite reaffirming, because I have a rough idea what my work's actually worth versus what I sell it for, and it gave me a pretty fair breakdown of the value of my artwork, and that was very, very satisfying. I experimented with a few of my friends, and I also at school asked some of my students if they wanted to drop some pictures in and get a feedback, and the feedback was like, "Oh, this is a very good student work. It could win an art award." I'm like, "That one won an art award." So
that's really cute.
Yeah,
that's a nice way to get objective feedback, actually, for the kids.
Yeah,
because the kids like to practice critiquing,
and it's pretty authentic. Like, it's looking into details.
I like that a lot.
My signature is weird, where I write Teru vertically with sort of like alternating, sometimes small and large letters, so that my T is a plus sign. The H can be an H or an I shape, right? Depending on my mood. Sometimes it says Taiwanox, and sometimes it says Teru, but the T is a plus sign. The H is either a capital I or capital H. E is a 3 or a W. R is more like the number 2. O is easy. The U becomes C often. So I was doing it backwards. And what did it say? Like
it was like rocket or something. Like people thought it was like
continent or something.
Yeah.
And then since 2019, after 2019, that my last name ends with X, I would do X, add an extra X, and then put whatever year it was. So in year 2020, I did Teru XX, and then in 2021, I did XI, and then 22, I did XII, obviously, and then 23, XIII, and then 24, it got shifted to XIV, which I really liked. 2025, it's just XXV, and but I mean, ChatGPT is telling me, oh, I like this one because it's signed. And it's like, it looks like it could say Taiwanox, but actually says Teru vertically. I'm like, shut up. Like, I've had to explain that to so many people. Can you sign this? I'm like, I did sign it. Look, it's right there. Like, oh, I thought that was just chicken scratch. And I'm like, that's my signature. Thanks. So that was kind of fun. Pretty smart and intuitive, that machine. I just hope I don't have to compete with it for the rest of my life. I'll be right back.
I'll be here. I'm embroidering a full moon.
Aren't you?
We have about 15 minutes left.
Oh, I think I'll do another painting.
This is pulling so much, but I'm just gonna keep going. And maybe it'll pull enough and be flat after.
What are you saying?
So I when I do circles, I don't use hoops, and then I end up pulling.
Is Felix gone? Did he go?
He went.
Did he say, should I stay or should I go now?
No, he said, I'm gonna go.
He's like a little rebel.
Oh.
Pirate broadcasting from his house.
Oh, he's texting you.
Or is he? What's he saying?
Let's see.
What's he saying?
Whoa.
Oh, the book that he read?
No, Scott sent a really cool painting that he
Not
painted.
Felix. Yeah.
And now Felix said, kebab.
Kebab?
No, I'm here. But he's not here. But he is here?
Oh.
Oh, here, at the stage.
Oh, yeah. There
Are
we
you
go.
here?
Is he? Are you? You got to probably.
Yeah, I'm here.
There you
Okay.
are.
Were you here the whole time?
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Well, I haven't been here for 15 minutes because my phone glitched.
Oh, okay.
Well,
What do
I
you think
have
of-
been here,
think
but
of
I've
the
been
dog
backstage. And I just didn't know I was backstage.
What do you think? Well, it's a good thing that you didn't have your screen on. You know, if
Yeah.
you're having a bath or something,
Yeah.
we would have warned you. But what do you think of the dog painting? You like it?
It's so cool.
Good. I used up all my turkey. Jesse's not allowed to eat steak.
Jesse isn't allowed to eat steak?
She's not allowed to eat steak because she chokes. Her dad says, "Oh, Jesse, you're gonna choke to death if you don't chew your steak." And then I was doing this impersonation of her dad for like 3 or 4 years, and then it came up one day at dinner. I'm like, "Do you want to hear my impersonation of you? Can you fill this up if you live?"
Yeah.
Felix, did we play the video while you were with us?
Yeah.
Did I get
Yeah, you did.
that? Or did I play it twice? Oh, I did play it twice. When we're done the last episode, I'm gonna put the puppets in the car and we're gonna deconstruct the narrative, but as puppets.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's really white paper. I think my other paper was kind of cream. I'm gonna tone it down a bit. I'll do that over here. Full tag of that.
I apologize.
You do not have to apologize.
I can't even have tea without choking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm alive.
Oh, there we go. I totally zoned out looking for this. Okay. Got there. First there was Gorilla House, and then there was the Rumble House. Now there is the Isle of Roux, where no one tells us what to do. Zach, did you ever paint little trains?
Yeah, but I wasn't very good at it.
I don't believe you.
I was like a little bit better at painting real trains, but still not that good at it.
You silly Willy. The grad class that that graduated this year had they had a few good pranks, and I was kind of impressed with them. I actually have to hunt them down. They bought alarm clocks and hid them, and so there's alarm clocks stashed throughout the school, and they keep going off, and the teachers are just like, "I'm just going to wait." But I put out a public email asking if I could have all of the alarm clocks because they just buttons. They work, but Felix. Is Theo with us tonight?
Hello.
Hi. What were you making?
Me.
You know your image is off, right?
Hello?
Did you want hi, can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, you can't hear us.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
My little guy.
We can hear
I'm gonna
you.
remove you.
We love you.
Hello?
Can you hear us now? Can you hear us now?
I'm not on Wi-Fi. Really?
Are you talking to me? A fun little guy. It's pretty adept for a 12-year-old, hey?
He is pretty adept.
Yeah, well, so we'll see if the Rumble House gets canceled when we take the show on the road.
Isle of Roux.
The Isle of Roux.
I think it'll be a fun, heartwarming adventure of a family in a tiny little bug, just doing their thing. Heartwarming adventure.
I don't have to worry about getting canceled the way I used to.
Oh, no. I think we exist in a different space. Like, you're right. Like, you're right to always think about stuff like that. Like, what if? And think about things. But it's also like, I feel, I don't know. I feel like it's a little different because we play by, like, no one tells us what to do.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that. Like I said, that guy leaving his bucket truck outside the gallery for 2.5 months. I still call it the gallery, but that guy leaving his bucket truck, obscuring the view of the space of those people that are trying to make business out of being barbers. I drive by there and I end up angry for like 10, 15 minutes on the way to work. It's not even my space anymore. Or we saw the dumpster rolled into the alley, and that was the kind of thing we would have gone around the block and tried to fix back in the day, which was a couple months ago. Jess and I realized we don't really know what our summer's going to look like yet because we've been together for 12 years. We've been friends for 13 years, and we've always had the gallery and people to take care of. So we don't exactly know what the world looks like when it's just like us chilling and relaxing, you know? I can't help but think it's going to be even nicer. But what if it turns out we needed the drama? Keep things hot.
I feel like you always like meet new things, and as long like because you are one person that keeps meeting new people, and like there's always things happening, you know, like life is always happening. So it's not like about drama maybe, but like happenings. Like even going down to the park to paint is exciting with you, right?
We got to do a little bit of research about whether we need, if we're not selling anything, can we just set up in the park and paint? And if they don't have a rule and a law in place for that, I'm sure they will by the end of summer. You know, like what it can't just
we
have
are
people
those people that end up like being
changing,
the reason for laws.
They hadn't anticipated Teru, and then
people would just go out and
they come up with a law,
not ask for money.
Right. That was really like a real tough one on Venice Beach at first. that we're sort of setting up with all those vendors, and we weren't selling anything, which was good for the vendors because we're providing like a distraction, but it wasn't a distraction that competed with what they were doing, right? Because we didn't want money. We wanted people to do good deeds.
Mm-hmm.
And
so it brought good energy,
there
but didn't take away from.
There was some frustration at first, though, hey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost like people are not trustful of people who don't want money.
Mm-hmm. And then again, with talking about art and art value and stuff, I ended up having the same conversation several times today about why I didn't want to sell artwork anymore. And it was really difficult for them to, like, in the same breath that they didn't want to hear that there's a reason why these pieces of art matter and exist at such a high level of price. They were also equally kind of distressed that I was telling them I didn't like being paid for my paintings. So
it's interesting.
Well, I think they're being really supportive. Like, oh, you should value your work. I'm like, I do, like, way
it's
too
priceless,
much.
Yeah.
I'll value it enough that I want to decide where it goes and who gets to look at it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a really huge thing.
I leaned in and I wonder whose head that was. It was mine. Look at
whose head is that? That's your head. You're so cute. I love that head, that noggin.
You might have a different face next week. If you're all bruised up, everybody's gonna look at me like I'm some kind of monster.
It might still.
Man, when you had a broken arm, everywhere we went, it was like people were just
no, not even you.
Everywhere.
You were worried about that. You even asked the nurse, you're like, should I get out of here just so you can like double check?
I was offended that they didn't check to see if I hurt you. Because I figure that needs to be normalized. That you should always be like, did he do this to you?
Just so you know, I might have a purple face next Wednesday. It might be fine.
Getting part of her skull removed.
No, put back in. I don't know, something.
No, removed.
Removed. Part of it's removed. Part of it's removed.
What are you getting done, Bessie? Wisdom teeth?
No, it's
much worse.
I have a molar that's
She got some bad dental work when she was young.
Molar unhappy.
Do not talk to her mother about the bad dental work.
Molar is unhappy. Infection has spread. Broken skull.
Impacted. It's impacted. That's
no,
what
it's not. No? It's not impacted. It's
rotting.
It's rotting my skull.
It's stuck way up there.
Yeah. Because so it doesn't hurt, which is weird. Because they've like root canaled it a bunch of times, so there's no nerves. So it's really weird. It's a weird thing.
Best to get it out.
Yeah, best to get it out. So that's happening on Friday.
Yeah, and then they said before her cheekbones
like
crumble,
collapse,
and she's like, "Let's get that done right away."
I had implants done.
Yeah, I have to get an implant, and so I'm like gonna source gold. I need to bring in all my necklaces.
Is that a thing?
They probably have their own source. I don't need to.
Did you get donor tissue?
Yep. Cadaver. Yep.
Yeah, that's weird, eh?
It's weird, but it's interesting. It helps with the growth. But the thing when I had the implants put in, I was like, oh, I didn't know you use a drill to go into your head. You could feel it going in. Well, you don't feel it. You know the vibration.
Yeah, totally.
I thought I had a headache.
Yeah.
I was intentionally not wanting to know what I was doing. And I was intentionally not asking questions because I didn't want to get flipped out by it. And I was intentionally not noticing when it was going to happen. And Jess, because she loves me, let me go right up until the day before she said, we finished a Wednesday night rumble. She's like, you're getting gum surgery tomorrow. And the reason I had gum surgery is because I think when I was young, I lived almost exclusively off of carrots for about 8 years. And I would bite them just one side of my mouth. And I remember it would hurt my gum when I was biting into these giant carrots. And I started getting some gum receding on just the right bottom side of my teeth. So they're like, well, we're going to just give you a graft. And they kind of talked about it a little bit, but I wasn't listening on purpose. And then so having purposely not paid attention, Jess goes, oh, you weren't supposed to eat tonight. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, because you're getting put under tomorrow and they don't want you to throw up and die. And I was like, what? And I'm like, what? And then so on the way there, she's kind of panicking whether we should tell them that I had dinner the night before. And I realized because I drink coffee and it calms me down, and I don't smoke pot because it makes me violent, and there's a lot of things that work backwards on me, I realized they could give me a sedative and I might end up
fully awake,
completely awake and aware while they're messing with my jaw. And I didn't want to be like hyper aware of them cutting into my gum. So the last second I was like, do I have to get sedated? They're like, no, we can just give you a
local.
Yeah, local.
Yeah.
So they gave me the local and I had headphones on. I was listening to a brand new Bob Dylan album and they didn't know I could still hear, but the lady next to me in the next stall over had come in as an emergency because she was in a bar drinking and her gum fell out, like just a big chunk of gum. Not chewing gum, but like dental gum fell out of her mouth while she was drinking. And they're all like, yeah, this is weird. This hardly ever happens. I'm like, what the actual flying? And so I'm listening to the last conversation you want to overhear right before you get your gum prepared. I also had this idea that they were going to like just slice down the gum and peel the meat out. It would come out like a zipper and go tick, 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 tick. And then they chuck it. And then I'm like at the dental office and I'm like, so what are they going to put in there? And he's like, you really want to ask this now? I'm like, yeah, I guess. He's like, I'm going to say a second time. Now is not the time to ask. And I was like, okay, no, but seriously, what are they going to do? Well, we're going to use some donor material. I'm like, well, that's weird. Where's the donor comes from? He goes, you really want to ask that now? I was like, maybe tell me later. So they fixed my gum. And the second time I went back, they had a video on showing like an animation of what they do, which is really simple. And nothing like what I imagined. I imagined they took a knife and just went zip, pulled it off, and stuck a new one in. Yeah. But really what they did was they went zip, they stretched this out, and they just stuffed some in there.
Oh.
Yeah. Wasn't nearly as gross as I imagined.
No, for me, actually, I got an infection actually after the fact. It just wouldn't heal. And they go, oh, we can take it out. And I'm like, hell no. Leave it in. I'll wait.
Oh no!
So I had 2 rounds of antibiotics and it did heal, but it's kind of weird because I still chew on the other side. And the other side's all crowns.
Yeah.
I lost my teeth because of the celiac.
What? How many teeth did you lose?
I've lost 4.
Where are they?
2 molars, another molar on the other side.
Are they all next to each other or like all over the place?
The 2 in the back on the left are the very back, and then I lost another one in the bottom of the same side. And then the other one is on the top right.
But you're not like taking them out and putting them in a jar at night.
Actually, it's funny. You should ask that. They gave me the impressions of my old teeth.
Yeah.
And I had planned to put it in one of the bears for his teeth.
Oh yeah. Is this recently?
No, it's a couple years ago. I still have the actual thing, like the impression.
I have my dental impressions from before I had braces.
That's cool though, because I just kind of thought they were interesting.
Yeah, I look back and wonder why they gave me braces because I actually didn't really have crooked teeth.
I had braces too, actually, back then too.
My teeth got crooked on the bottom when I started stressing out in university. But that's just from clenching.
Like I had braces. Do you remember the headgear that you used to get? Do you remember headgear?
I didn't have headgear, but I remember it.
Well, headgear, it was like a little thing that stretched out. You had it like a little pad, goes around your head, and adjust it, but you had like it's hard to explain. It's like looks like a helmet or something, and it goes into your teeth and it stretches it over and over again to make
How long did you have that?
Oh, I had braces for 12 years.
Was it for like sleeping, or was it you had to walk around school with the contraption?
I had to walk around school a couple times. I didn't like it. They said my teeth were so far out that they said, well, we can break your jaw and then move it back. And I'm like, no, I don't want that either. So, but yeah,
the camera.
But it was worth it.
Yeah. You do have a
now it's still going out again. I guess as you get it as an adult, they go out again.
My dentist, my actual dentist, was telling me that I go like, because she's pushing really hard on my teeth to clean them. I'm like, you ever pop one of those suckers out? She's like, not very often. I'm like, wait, what? And then so she tells me the week before, this guy came in and all of his teeth were like spongy and loose when she's trying to clean them. And he had healthy teeth up until like the year before. He went and bought like Speed
whitening.
No.
Oh.
Invisalign.
Oh no.
He bought Speed Invisalign, and it loosened all his teeth. And then he went into the dentist, and his teeth were all loose and floating around his mouth. And they ended up having to pull all his teeth out because he tried to do like cheap, fast.
No.
Yeah, and then so now, when the kids at my school are like, I'm getting some Invisalign, I'm like, would you please make sure
it's the right
you're
one?
paying a lot of money for Invisalign.
Mm-hmm. Did you see what Scott wrote?
What?
He says he paints at the Lockheed House Park.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of interest, zero problems. I bring my little portable easel to the park, and I get asked so many questions. That is really nice. See, so that is a nice hopeful.
Well, good luck on your teeth there, Jess.
Thank you, Kelly.
It's just one tooth.
Well, still.
Hopefully.
One tooth and one part of her skull.
Well, there's ways of getting up there without. They're not going to do a sinus lift, are you? Are they?
Why is she saying that?
I don't know.
Why are you saying that?
They're just pulling.
Don't even say that.
They're just pulling the tooth and grafting.
What the hell is a sinus lift?
I don't know.
Those too. So when you get implants in the top area,
yeah,
they actually push up into your sinuses, so they have to pull it back.
Then that will be. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. That's going to be when they.
And you can't sneeze for a week. That was the hardest.
I sneeze all the time.
Do you remember that time that Felix broke his arm? And you're like, oh, Felix, I knew this guy. And I'm like, nope. You remember that?
Yeah.
Doom and gloom. Doom and gloom, my friend.
Everything is awesome.
No, everything will be fine. Just a little swollen. That's about it.
Yeah, that's probably what.
My sister got her wisdom teeth out, and she's convinced her face never looked the same again.
She'd asked them, hey, can I keep my old tooth? The one that you took out?
Yeah, she asked if she could have the tooth.
They put it on my file because they said.
She's going to make it into an earring right here.
There you go.
It'll be like when Dax mailed me his teeth and his wallet and his phone.
It'll be kind of like that.
It's time to say goodbye to the people at home.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Zach.
Can I tell you this?
You,
our numbers are growing. The number of people on live is increasing a lot, and the numbers of people that are watching every week increases. And we have around 14,000 people regularly watching. And it's pretty amazing that this is a thing that we're still doing. Good night, Jack. We love you.
Good night, Jack.
Are you singing us a song?
Oh my gosh.
Are you singing us a song?
I got my...
Yeah, isn't that nice? Are you singing us a song or am I logging out?
First there was Gorilla House.
And
then there was the Rumble House. And now there's the Isle of Roux. Where no one can tell us what to do.
Can you sing Take On Me by Aha?
Take me on. Take me boo, boo, boo.
to say. I can't find my. Oh, here we go. You know what I was doing? I was looking at your screen and moving my mouse around, and I just kept missing it.
We love you.
We love you. We'll see you next week. Jess will have a bruised face. It wasn't me.